Okay, we're on. I am not muted anymore. Hope. Okay, we're on. Oh no. I am not muted anymore. Hope. And then I didn't have my tab muted, so I heard myself, and it was horrifying. Good evening, everybody. Happy Crimson Tuesday to all. Deluxe Talks, Amberzine, good to see you. Blaholtzen, Sislax. How do you pronounce that, Francisco? Because I know Sislax is a regular on yours.
I just say slacks.
Slacks? Okay, Slacks. Evil Tentacle, good to see you. Edenwaith, Davor, Camulust, aloha, good to see you as well. Yeah, so super exciting. We have another guest on stream today. It is, of course, Francisco González of Grundislav Games. And we're going to have a nice little talk.
Oh boy, yay! Yay! Oh, I got a gift subscription. Thanks, Slacks.
Ah, sweet. Thank you. Good evening,
Hello,
Ronald
Julia,
Dragster.
Dan's replacement. That's me.
I guess I'll quickly introduce myself, and then I'll introduce Francisco, and then we'll get started. But welcome to stream. I am Julia Minamata. I'm the solo indie game dev behind The Crimson Diamond, which is a mystery adventure game set in early 1900s Northern Ontario. And you play Nancy Maple, who is behind me, and you are a rookie mineralogist and kind of a reluctant sleuth who gets sent up to Crimson Ontario on the hunt for a diamond. And that's a text parser, EGA, beautiful Roland MT32 soundtrack composed by Dan Polakar, and Dan will be back at some point. We will bring Dan back. It's been a while, but we will have him back, possibly next week. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. Good to see you, Jim Plays Games. Good evening. Yes, good evening to our guest, Patoing. Good to see you as well. Heavy777. Yes, it's a great reunion. Slat Studio, good to see you too. Yeah, last time Francisco and I met up was when Francisco, PAX East, right? Boston?
Yep.
Fun times.
Yep. Where there was a super spreader event right next door and we didn't get COVID.
Yay!
Yay!
Oh my gosh. What times?
On that note,
yeah.
Hello, how are you?
Oh yes, I'm going to introduce Francisco.
All right.
That's what I was going to do next.
Okay.
Yes, so Francisco González, adventure game. That's you. Adventure game studio veteran. Created more than a dozen games. Of course.
I think I've made, including like little tiny one-room thing games. I think I've made almost 30 games. I've made too many games.
You need to do like a deluxe of everything. Well, you know.
No.
Why?
Because I actually don't have the source code for like 90% of those games. I don't even have the source code for Ben Jordan anymore.
What?
I know, I lost it in a hard drive crash.
That was one of my questions. One of my questions was how you back up your work, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
It's too late now, but we'll get to that.
All right.
Wow. Yeah, so speaking of Ben Jordan Case 1 came out in 2004. So 17 years.
Yeah, wow.
And more.
Veteran is just a nice way of saying old.
I won't argue with that. I can't even think of a rebuttal because it's kind of true. You know, the number of years you have in the industry, and you do have quite a few, and that's awesome. And I'm going to hopefully benefit from that when I start asking you really boring technical questions that no one else wants to know the answer to.
Well, you know, whatever.
Of course, so Francisco's latest game that's out right now is Lamplight City, and it's 33% off on Steam right now, and there's a link in chat. If anyone who hasn't played it, you like mystery games, Francisco, you're better off at explaining it than I am.
Well, your Nightbot explained it pretty good. It's a detective adventure set in an alternate steampunk-ish Victorian past.
Because I copied and pasted.
Yeah, you play as a troubled... You play as this guy right here. I have my little minis here.
Nice.
You play as Miles Fordham, who is a detective, and he hears the voice of his dead partner, and he has to investigate 5 cases and track down his partner's killer. And you can get cases wrong or right, but the game doesn't get you stuck in a dead end.
Sweet.
So
Sweet,
there
sweet.
you go. That's my pitch.
33% off, amazing. Judith Butler's Lover, good to see you. Yes, this is the developer of Street Glow Town. Indeed.
Yes. I do have the source code for Lamplight City, yes. Yes, Ronald Dragster. I have the source code of all of my commercial games.
Oh, it makes me sad though.
I know.
I'm sure people have Let's Plays of those. We could, we could reverse engineer those to get
Maybe.
people.
Is it worth it? Was the question. I can show off all my minis. I also
Please
have
do.
Ben Jordan. I made minis of all of the protagonists of my games.
Sweet.
This is Ben Jordan with his little ghost. This is Alfie Banks from A Golden Wake.
Oh my goodness.
This is my latest one, Amy from Shardlight, where
Oh, nice on the bottom.
I tried to do reflections, but it kind of just looks like she has slime on her pants.
I can kind of see that.
But it's fine. The aforementioned Miles, and then also Harley from the upcoming Rosewater.
Fighting Stance Harley.
Yeah, Fighting Stance Harley.
And of course, I have this. I have my little.
Yes. It's fun to make little merch for your
self.
Stuff. And then I also have Godzilla, but he's not from any of.
No, he's not from any one of your games.
Not from any of my games. No, I got this in San Francisco when I was like 3, and I still.
Oh, nice, fantastic! Yeah. It's always Sammy. Good to see you, as well. Let's see. Hey, since Grundislav is the new composer, can you finally clear up what MT32 is? Yeah, Francisco has not replaced Dan. I will make that clear.
I'm not a composer, so if you had, there's no way that I could replace Dan. Dan is irreplaceable.
Yeah, Francisco does everything else in his games but the music, pretty much. So it would be a mistake for me to hire him for music.
Yes, it would.
But yes, Francisco, living the dream. You're a full-time game developer.
I am.
Which is awesome.
I don't know how, but I am.
You just didn't stop.
No, I guess I didn't. I also moved to like one of the most expensive cities in the United States, so I don't know why.
For a challenge?
I guess. I didn't want to do it on easy mode.
No. No one wants to play in easy mode. That's completely not legitimate.
Yeah.
Is what I'm told.
Yeah.
Yes. Horrible. Okay. So yeah, next thing, of course, so that's Francisco's current game, Lamplight City. The game that he's currently developing right now is Rosewater, which there's a demo available via Dream Hack Beyond this event. So it's not up for forever. So catch that. There's a link. I'm just putting the link down right now.
I believe it's available until the 31st, which is this Saturday.
So definitely check it out. I caught it at one of your past events as well.
Yeah, I was trying to remember. I think this is like the 3rd or the 4th time that it's been available, but I don't remember.
Do you find it's advantageous to have it available at limited times, or versus having it up all the time?
I mean, it's weird because like demos sort of were like the thing to do about 4 years ago, and then they sort of fell out of favor because of the whole like Steam refund thing, because essentially you could play 2 hours of a game and then refund it, and so that kind of took the place of a demo.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I don't really know, because like A Golden Wake and Shardlight both have demos, but I have no idea how they I guess I could look at the Golden. Actually, no, I deactivated the Golden Wake demo. But anyway,
why? Just because of that return policy?
Yeah, because there was really no point. But yeah, like I mean, I think that sort of having it as a limited time thing kind of creates this incentive to play it. So I don't know.
Chris Quinn,
and they are, yeah, I think Dave was right. I think demos are sort of back in vogue. At least like we talked about this, like standalone prologues are the thing. I mean, like you have the Crimson Diamond Chapter 1, which is not a standalone prologue, but it's the game. And like my Rosewater, the demo for Rosewater is the game. So it's just missing like final stuff. So you have an incentive to go back afterwards and play it when it's like fully done. So I don't know. At least I hope. I don't know. Anyway.
We'll see. We all hope. Yeah. Ronald Dragster wants to know what kind of coffee or tea mug you have, Francisco. Because I got this one.
Mine? Oh, I wish I could show you. So for the longest time, my coffee mug was a Late Night with Conan O'Brien mug that I got when I went to see his show back in like 2004. But I recently got my grandmother's old mug, which is just a black mug that says "Life's a bitch and then you die." So that's my new coffee mug, and I really like it.
Oh, that's so cute that your grandma had that. Even that makes it even better.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. I'm going to. I think what I'm going to do next. I'm going to show. Not this. I'm going to show the Rosewater trailer, if I can figure out how I can make that work.
Okay.
I'm gonna just check. Oh,
I've been stealing your idea for my stream, by the way, and playing the Rosewater trailer.
Good. Good.
Oh, look, you got raided.
Oh, good. Oh, Aubrey, thank you for the raid. Thank you. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm quickly. Oh no, see that's not working at all. This is It looks bizarre now. I wanted to play the browser, but it's not. Oh, you know what? Because I didn't change the tab. There we go. Yes, thank you, awesome, thank you, Lean Pharaoh. Good to see you. And Aubrey, yes, first time raid, nice, thank you.
Cool.
I'm gonna just try to make sure that this looks okay, or this does not line up whatsoever, because it probably looks terrible, and I just need to check my phone.
I'm gonna check the stream on my phone as well.
Oh gosh.
We're such millennials.
Oh my goodness. I've got it on 3 different things, and I
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
oh, you know what?
Auto, and I'm gonna put it all the way down. There we go. Oh, I see the play date.
Yeah,
And
I don't know why that's okay.
I see a screen of Rosewater behind the play date.
Okay, yeah, I can turn that off. Let's turn that off, and let's turn off the caption text. Oh no, wrong one. This one. Okay. I think that'll do it. So pro.
Oh, well, good.
Aubrey says Lamplight City is one of their favorite PNCs.
Thank you, Aubrey. Also, thank you, Hunter1043. I hope you like the Rosewater demo.
Okay, great. Now I'm gonna play the trailer, and hopefully the music comes through, because I did not test that. So fantastic.
No, Deluxe Tux, I didn't use millennial as a shorthand for someone out of touch with technology. I used it as shorthand for someone who's multitasking on several different pieces of technology. We're on the phone and on the computer, and...
What is it you want out of life? Fortune, glory, the thrill of adventure? I'm offering you a chance at all 3. You just need to do me one small favor. You've something of a reputation, you know. Clever, resourceful, maybe a little dangerous. I do hope that's accurate. The path won't be straightforward. You'll encounter obstacles along the way, perhaps even some other dangerous people. You'll need some help, but I assure you the rewards far outweigh the risks. You will be richer than you ever thought possible, if you can deliver. I'll be in touch.
Fantastic. That is the trailer. I hope.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I just had to catch up. Let me close this on the stream. I mean, on my phone now. That is not Claudia Black Aubrey. It kind of sounds like her, doesn't it? No, that's Amelia Tyler. Amelia Tyler actually, I hope she's not too famous by the time I record the audio, because she's the narrator in Baldur's Gate 3 now.
Oh wow, awesome. Great voice.
Yeah, amongst other things. She's been in a lot of stuff. And yes, it's Adventure Game Studio, and yes, I did do all the art myself. Jim plays games.
Yes, and Jim Matt says love the background in the trailer. So
oh, thank you.
Wonderful that you're getting that appreciation, because I know you're a self-taught artist.
I am, yes. Incidentally, everybody, if you want to watch me develop the game and see me do art, I do a weekly stream, or weekly dev stream, which I call Wild West Wednesday, every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. So,
yes,
there you go.
Yeah, I just put the links down for Wild West Wednesday at Grundislav on Twitch.
Thank you. I will stop with the shameless self-promotion now. Also, Chris Gwynn is here. Chris
yes.
Gwynn is another regular on my stream who made The Adventures of Chris.
Yes, and also AGS?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, no, Adventures of Chris was not made in AGS,
oh,
but
okay.
You do use AGS as well, Julie.
Yes, I do. Yes. Yes, Chris Gwynn, I am using Adventure Game Studio for the Crimson Diamond. Yeah.
And you're on hardcore mode because you're doing a text parser.
Yes, yes I am. Yes I am. And I don't regret it most of the time.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. I'm just showing some of these wonderful screenshots you have of
Oh, thanks.
Rosewater.
Yeah, I can't tell what's going on.
That's okay.
I'm not looking at the stream.
That's
anymore.
okay. The video is frozen for anybody else. That's not good. So let's actually that's not good. Yeah, this is what happens when you mix OBS and Zoom.
Oh, the webcams are frozen.
Yes, that's unfortunate. Which it's one of those things that happens, and I don't know how to fix besides just restarting, and we'll probably have to do that. That's kind of what happened on Anna's stream when I had Anna as a guest.
Right.
So yes, the webcams are. Yeah, no, your eyes did not freeze. And this is really good for ventriloquists. So yeah, what we're going to do is, just if you guys sit tight, I'm going to stop stream and start stream again, and everything will be as it should be. So please sit tight, and we're going to get back on. Okay, we're starting again. We're live. Sorry, guys. Yeah, expect that to happen. I was telling Francisco just now, expect that to happen at least 2 or 3 more times tonight. So yeah, something to look forward to.
Hooray!
Hooray! Yeah. So once we get confirmation that we're actually back, okay, the red light is on.
Okay.
So you don't got to put out the red light. No. This chat confirmation that we're back, and then we'll get back on it.
I think we've got one. Yes.
Yay, cameras! Hooray, cameras! Okay, perfect.
And we've got cameras.
Sweet. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so sorry, technical difficulties. Okay, so yes, before we get into more the questions I have for Francisco that he did not want ahead of time because he is.
Wait, you made flashcards?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You had opportunity.
You made flashcards for our panel too, and you got really upset because you thought the first question I asked wasn't what the question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You definitely had a lot of notes.
Yes, I do always.
I admire your note taking and preparation skills.
The way you're laughing indicates to me that you don't, but I'll just take that
No,
at
I
face
really
value.
do. I really do. Can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
Did you
please.
take copious notes in school? Yeah, see, I didn't. I didn't even study. I would just show up and wing the tests, and then I would always fail the tests. I was not a good student.
And yet we're both here at the same time.
Yeah,
So
so
it
so
worked
now
out,
you
didn't
have
it?
you have all the notes, and I didn't study for the test.
And it's totally fine.
This is my nightmare. This is my recurring nightmare.
You know, I did give you the opportunity, like I said. So it's not like,
That's fair. Let's do it.
Okay. Yeah, so before we get into the questions that I have prepared for Francisco, that he had an opportunity to prepare for, I just want to quickly remind people that Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern, Playdate pre-order start. And I'm going to try to pre-order because they've got a nice little case that you can get that magnetically snaps onto the top. And right now I'm using this Birdie Bots Every Flavor Beans pouch, which it fits pretty well, but I want the snap-on one that makes it look like an ice cream sandwich. And here the stereo dock that they're going to have, which is a Bluetooth stereo dock and a charger, that's not going to be available for pre-order yet, unfortunately. That'll be at a later date. But yeah, I encourage anyone who loves low res, lo-fi, really cool game stuff. They've got amazing people designing games for this thing. They've got Bennett Foddy, they've got Lucas Pope, among others. And I was working on a Playdate game with Xalavier Nelson Jr. and Strange Scaffold, so that's going to be on there. And in fact, hold on, I want to make sure I can show. It's actually on. It's on the little thing. There it is. So this is not a season 1 game. The season 1 games are 24 games that are already established, and you'll get 2 a week for 12 weeks, which is kind of exciting. But yeah, so pre-orders for that 1 p.m. Eastern. It says like 10 a.m. PDT, which I guess is West Coast time. But for us, it's going to be at 1 p.m. on Thursday. So if you want one, if you fell in love with it like I did as soon as I saw it, that's when that's going to be. So good luck. Good luck for the pre-orders. Okay, so next. Oh yeah, so we already did this a slideshow of the Rosewater screens, but we might as well have something visual up on screen while we're doing this. And I've got these Lamplight City screens here, which I need to resize. So sorry that I'm kind of doing this on the fly. But yeah, so I've got some questions for Francisco about just game stuff in general, creativity in general. And yeah, I'm trying not to repeat too many questions that he gets a lot, because he's talked on a lot of different things on a lot of different podcasts. But my first and most boring question that we're not even going to delve into is Steam achievements. I warned you. Steam achievements in Adventure Game Studio. You said it's a plugin?
Yes.
What's that plugin called? Do you know off the top of your head?
So there's a forum user who used to be active. I don't know if he's still active.
Okay.
Named Monkey0506. And
okay.
what just happened? My chair just collapsed. That was weird. So there's a AGS user called Monkey0506 who made a plugin for Steam achievements.
Sweet.
And he later updated it to be, because it used to be two separate plugins, one for Steam and one for GOG. And then he updated it so that it was just for universal achievements. I think it's still on his website. If you go to the AGS forums and you just look up AGS Steam achievements, it's a DLL file that you just put in AGS, and then you can activate the plugin within AGS.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think it's got decent documentation, but it's pretty much just it just implements a code which is just like activate achievement or something like that, or something. And so basically what you have to do is you go into Steam, into the Steamworks pipeline thing.
Okay.
And there's a section for achievements, and you basically just have to give them names, and then you define like the icons and all that stuff. And you just have to make sure that the achievement names match up. So like in AGS, you just do like unlock atch, and then in parentheses you type in the string name of the achievement, and then it activates it. But then when you test it, testing it's kind of a pain. Actually, testing it's easier on Steam, because you can just like there's a command to like reset everything, so you don't have to like worry about activating it and then never being able to activate it again. But that's you really also cool. Need to like integrate it into Steam, and then like it's kind of a pain in the ass.
I'll be asking you again.
Yeah, I never remember. I always have to like relearn every single time for every single game. But it's relatively easy. So oh, there you go. Look, some Edenwaith17 link to it in the chat.
Oh, sweet. Oh, sweet. Okay, I'm gonna open that in a tab.
There you go.
That's fantastic. Judith Butler's Lover. Yeah, Lucas Pope. I just put the links down for the Playdate. There's a Playdate update video link on YouTube. So if you watch that, it'll show a bit of Lucas Pope's game that he's developing for it, and it looks really cool. So yes, if you're interested in that one.
So Davor asks, is there a way to turn achievement pop-ups off? I hate them for narrative games. I don't know if there's a way to turn them off in Steam. Although I guess you could put in like a toggle in your game to like activate them or not. Actually, yeah, you could totally do that.
Well, I guess this leads to, a more philosophical question that we were discussing the other day, which is, I was asking Francisco about, having achievements for completing, each case in Lamplight City, or for the Crimson Diamonds case, each chapter, there's going to be 7 chapters, just as a way, as metrics. So, as a developer, we can track how far people get in the games and everything.
Yeah.
But you don't care for that approach, Francisco, apparently.
No, my philosophy for Steam achievements is like I'll gladly put in a Steam achievement for completing the game, because I feel like that is something that you achieve. You know, you get to the end of the game, you achieve that, and then that's, as a metric thing, you can check how many people finished your game.
Right.
But I don't like achievements for chapter marks, because it just feels cheap to me. And generally speaking, in adventure games, I think achievements are more fun if they're stuff like, okay, so with Lamplight City, I had there's an achievement for every suspect at the end of each case, which I guess kind of serves as a chapter marker, even though I just said I hate those. But like, you actually have to go out of your way to accuse the person, so you know, that's fine. But generally speaking, I like to have achievements be stuff that you wouldn't normally try.
Okay.
For stuff that you wouldn't normally try, or like alternate paths or something. Like, the very first achievement in Lamplight City that you can get is if you ring the bell several times and annoy the flower shop lady. Because that was just a funny little thing I put in. And I was like, well, I'll make this an achievement so that achievement hunters at least will see it. So it kind of encourages, if you have players that are into achievements and they like see the text and kind of get a clue of what you have to do. It's funny, I think, or it encourages people to like go and try things they wouldn't necessarily try, I think. So.
Okay. P. Fernier, 33, thanks for the follow. Is there a rule that they have to be puns?
There's no rule, but I like to give them pun names because I'm just a jerk. I see your face. I know you don't like puns, but that's what I like to do.
Would you care to share the gem of a pun you had for one of your achievements? Oh
yeah, sure. So there's an achievement in a Golden Wake where if you successfully intimidate a character who wears a toupee, the achievement is called "You're going to pay for that." Your face was worth that.
Lucas, it has been a while. Howdy. Yeah, I wanted you all to share that pain. That's why I wanted you to repeat that.
I'm sure definitely there's people in the chat that appreciated that.
Jedim Jedi, welcome to stream. Oh, you definitely tried a couple of different playthroughs with the Lamplight City to accuse the different people.
Well, that's good.
Very nice. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like when I eventually figure the whole Steam achievement thing out, with copious help from Francisco, I probably will do the chapter achievements just so I could track. It's almost like player feedback and like how many people get to certain parts of the game, because I know there is a metric for did people finish 20% of the game? Did people finish 80% of the game? What percentage of people where did they get stuck, and where is the place where most people?
Okay, can I make some?
Yes.
Can I make some achievement suggestions for you right now?
Please do.
Okay, you have to have an achievement for taking a shower, because that's just obvious. And I think you should also have an achievement for opening every single cabinet or door in the game. And the shower one, I'm trying to think of stupid names for them.
Of course. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for helping me think of stupid names.
The shower could just be like Rub-a-Dub-Dub or something like that. And because the fun thing about achievements is not only do you have to think of names for them, but you also have to think of little icons for them.
Right.
Oh, Rub-a-Dub-Dead. That's a good one.
Dead. Yeah, chat, please chime in.
Yes, please do. Asking everyone in the game about cormorants. There's a good one too. Oh, Bloodbath. Bloodbath is right there. That's a good one. Yes, Bloodbath. Perfect.
Wow, you guys. Gee.
You could if you ask everyone about cormorants, you could call that one Bird Brain.
Oh my god.
And then if you open all of the cabinets, I don't know. Unhinged.
Open-minded.
Open-minded, that works too. See, this is great. And then you can even you can also have achievements for stuff that you like eavesdrop on every conversation, sort of thing. Yeah, stuff like that. You like how I amuse myself? Oh, are you kidding me? I sit alone in my basement most of the day. I have to amuse myself, or else I'll die of boredom. Concordance.
Oh, nosy neighbor. That's good.
Yeah, there you go. Nosy neighbor.
No, I admire that skill in people. When people can amuse themselves easily, I think that's great. Because I don't find that I do that myself. Oh, after titles, Chris Gwynn named a bunch of achievements after titles you would get, like Cookie Collector, Master Negotiator, etc. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, that's most of the fun of the achievements, I suppose.
Yeah. Hello, Anna.
How Anna, welcome to stream. Anna was my first guest on stream, which was awesome. Anna is one of the co-hosts of the Classic Gamers Guild podcast. They have game devs on there as well. Have been on. Francisco's been on. And Laurie Corey Cole, Roberta Williams, Ken Williams, and sometimes they do also some just talking about games in general, like games that they've changed their opinion on, or a year in gaming. They'll pick 1990 or something and talk about the games that came out during that year, which is really cool. It's very educational. Jedim Jedi wants to know what is on our desks right now, Francisco.
Oof,
what do you got?
My desk is very messy.
That's better. That's better. You got more stuff to pick from.
Do I have to show it, or can I just describe it?
Show it!
Okay. Well, I already showed all my minis, but those are
Right.
technically not on my desk. They're on the thing that my monitor is on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I've got this for some reason because I started playing this a long time ago, and I never got around to continue playing it. But I still have the CD thing on my desk. My microphone, obviously. I have 2 bottles of water, which are empty now because I put them in my large bottle of water.
Oh, wow, okay.
I'm waiting to take these upstairs when we're done here so I can recycle them. I have my tablet, my mouse, and my mouse pad. I have speaking of copious notes, this is my design document for Rosewater, which is all on a notepad.
Oh, I've got one of those, yeah.
Yeah, and I have James Gurney's Color and Light also for quick reference whenever I need to look at it for a background I'm drawing. That's what's on my desk right now. And over here is my other monitor.
That's really good. See, that was really, really good. Yeah, I've got my EGA necklace on. So I took the bracelet with the EGA beads on it and I strung it into a necklace because now I can wear it on stream and people can see it, which is kind of nice. Edmund Detour, good to see you.
Oh, hello.
Welcome. Yes. Okay, so I guess what's on my desk? So I've got this is my game dev notebook.
Oh.
Don't laugh.
You actually have a cover for yours. Mine is just a plain old boring white notepad.
Well, it's super cutesy. So this didn't take many notes after a certain point, but there's like a map of the lodge here in pencil. And also some of my horrible names I made for the game.
I also have a map right here for the last
area. Sweet. Sweet. Yeah, there's a bunch of names on this so let's read some of these here. We've got
Oh yeah, we were going to talk about this about titles and alternate names for your game.
Yes. So I guess because Francisco's the guest, I want to ask him first. How hard is it for you to come up with names for characters, for games, for locations, etc.?
Coming up with names for characters isn't really that difficult because I find that if I ever get stuck, there's always like random name generators that I can go to.
Ooh.
And sometimes I use those. Sometimes I use my, I actually have a text file on my desktop. I check my spam folder every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
And any interesting names in the spam folder, like they have like weird names that they send, and if there's interesting ones, I put them in my text file. So I have a whole list of some spam names. I'll read you some,
please.
I've got Keith Lathan, Hannah Anderson, Gerald Vries, Carol Windy, Jason Vondrak, Monica Brown, Sarah Johnson, Sherry Williams, Sophia Shaw, Godwin Emafiel, which I should get rid of because I used Emafiel in Lamplight City.
Are you serious?
And Martha Charnley.
Martha Charnley. I like the ones with similar sounding names like Hannah Anderson.
Yeah.
Martha Oh, that's great.
So if you hear any of those names in my games, you'll know that I got them from spam emails. But with regard to titles, it depends on the game. Like a Golden Wake, I thought of the title really fast for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Shardlight was an accident. I talked about this on the
Yes.
Classic Gamers Guild podcast. And Lamplight City took me forever, and Rosewater came pretty easily as well. So it's sort of hit and miss. But I want to know about your alternate titles for the
sure.
Crimson
Yeah,
Diamond.
I can read some of these horrible names. I think I mentioned some of my favorite bad names, which was the girl with a diamond herring, which was my favorite terrible name. But there are other ones that are not as interesting, like the Last Lodge, Miss Maple Goes North, the
Ooh.
Diamond and the Herring, the Case of the Greedy Herring, and let's see, the Gutted Herring's Secret. It does not roll off the
Ooh.
tongue, does it? Miss Maple's First Case. Let's see. None of them really are that great. The
Well,
Innkeeper's Secret, the Prospector's Secret.
That's why you have to write them all down.
Yeah, just to get them out.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I didn't have much luck. And then even when I started using the Crimson Diamond, I wasn't thrilled with the name, but it kind of did grow. It kind of grew on me.
Shock the Toast says that her last case should be called Miss Maple.
And welcome to stream, by the way, Shock the Toast. That is
Go
amazing. Yes. Oh, jeez. No.
I thought I'd help you there. I'd give you some Canadian pride.
Yeah, that's not a point of pride.
Okay, fine.
Jedim Jedi, yes, it's good for it to make easy red herring achievements. Yeah, because there is a lake herring in the game. And welcome, Fractal Mind Mike. Good to see you as well. Octorob, welcome as well. Yeah, so that's some of that stuff. So yeah, naming things. For me, I've never tried to use a random name generator. What I've done, which is much less professional, is I've just taken names kind of people that I think are inspirational, and I've kind of twisted their names a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, Corvus Shaw, the lawyer in the game, is named after Yahtzee Kershaw, which is because he made AGS games back in the day, and he made a text parser game called Trilby's Notes, which I really admired. So yeah, I made the character actually kind of looks like him too. So that's what I tend to do. Nessa Crab, there is a Let's Player, a YouTuber who Let's Played Francisco's games.
Which is her crabbiness?
Yes, her crabbiness is Nessa Crab.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean, just it doesn't, to me, it's my own personal meaningfulness of that person and their impact on my life in a way. So yeah, so her crabbiness to me is just as important as Yahtzee was, because I think that's where I learned about Francisco's games in the first place.
That's very sweet.
So for me that was kind of big. I'm trying to think of other characters that kind of have that same type of name. There's not a lot of characters in my game actually. Yeah, I mean, when you think of characters in AGS, when you have the little C and then their name, how many of those do you have in your game? Like, let's see, Lamplight City, for instance.
How many characters do I have?
Yeah, actual characters that are as listed in Adventure Game Studio.
Well, Lamplight City had 70 speaking roles, which was way too many. My God. Your reaction. I'm so sorry. I feel like I've personally offended you by saying that.
No, but it's just so scary and daunting. Is all that reaction?
Well,
I can't imagine, because right now Crimson Diamond has 8 characters in it. I think
keep
9.
in mind that Lamplight City is like, I've been making games for a long time. I wouldn't have been able to make a game of the scope of Lamplight City if it was my first game right out the gate. So, yeah. But to answer your question, there are... well, also keep in mind that the characters themselves are not just the sprites that you see, they're also the portraits.
Okay, yes.
So there's double for every one of them. So there are 143.
So is that taking into account the fact that you've doubled, or are you already having that?
That's taking into that's doubles. That's like the characters and their portraits.
Okay.
That's just how many C name files there are in Lamplight City.
So would there be then like 70 character, so character plus portrait in a way.
Yeah, more or less. The same thing's happening in Rosewater because I have separate. The heads and the blinking are separate characters.
Oh,
and
wow.
The shadows also.
Oh,
but
God.
I don't think there's going to be as many characters in Rosewater.
That's so scary.
So, yeah. I doubled to an odd number because the commentary track is also a character.
Oh.
So it's 142 characters plus a commentary track. So. Yeah.
Anna wants to know, Francisco, do you find using Twitch to be a good motivational tool while working on Rosewater?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to be able to just talk to people while I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps me distracted from social media. That's mostly the reason that I do it.
Very good. Yeah, I like it too. I don't actually get a heck of a lot of work done on my streams, and it seems that I'm looking to get even less work done now that I'm having guests on occasionally.
Yeah.
It's not like I wasn't getting enough work done already. Now I'm getting even less. But I like it. I like it a lot, actually, just for the social aspect and just coming out every week and talking to people again. It's kind of nice.
I still haven't quite figured out the ideal time to stream. I mean, you get a pretty big audience at 8 p.m., but I wouldn't want to stream at the end of my workday. That's why
Right.
I stream at 1. But I figure at 1 o'clock, most people are either at work or having lunch or something. So like I usually don't get any more than like 20 people on my streams, which is fine. But I've been wondering about how to like grow the audience a little more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, well,
If you have any tips.
Well, I guess the thing is with Twitch is that, you know, people are in all kinds of time zones, so but it does depend on the majority of the people and what time zone is after work for them, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yes, in fact, on my mic, for instance, he is a streamer who does like retro games, and he streamed the Colonel's Bequest and streamed the Crimson Diamond demo a few weeks back, and I got to sit in on chat with him. He's in Australia, so we had to kind of work a time that would work for both of us. But what I find for me is I don't do this as much as I used to do, and I need to do it more, but just searching on Twitch for people who are streaming, you know, point and click games, and you know, watching them here and there, and you know, kind of building a list of people who play similar types of games, and occasionally rating if they're on around the same time as you, and that's a nice way to kind of get to know a few other names of other streamers and things. And yeah, sometimes it's nice because then they'll offer to play the demo on stream. And it's funny that in chat, someone mentioned that playing demos is actually good for streamers because they know it's like a slice of the game and they don't have to worry about, you know, not finishing something. So, you know, often when someone asks me about playing the game on stream or doing a let's play, how long is the demo? And I say about an hour and a half or so, and that seems to hold pretty true. So for them it's nice because it's a discrete bit and they don't feel like they're leaving anyone hanging at the end of it. Yeah. Oh yeah, see, Fractal Mind Mike extends whatever offer for streaming to Francisco. Yeah, so you know, if you want to have Fractal Mind Mike play, and Fractal Mind Mike, you'll love Francisco's games.
I mean, if you want to play my games, you can. I mean, play the Rosewater demo if you want.
It's really good. It's really good. Fractal Mind Mike, you would really enjoy it.
It's changed a bit.
Ooh.
Already since. Yeah, but I mean. Anyway, it's an okay representation of what the final game will be.
Wow, you really sell it hard.
It's a fantastic, good old time. Yeehaw!
Yeah, exactly. It's rootin' tootin' for sure. It is. And I guess that's something I wanted to. Oh yeah, with the empty bottles, very nice.
Yeah.
I did want to ask about that because you know you've got Lamplight City, which is set in this certain universe, Western type of universe, and you've got Rosewater set in the same universe. Is this going to be a trilogy, a Vespuccia trilogy?
It might be more than a trilogy.
Interesting.
I mean, I like Vespuccia as a setting, and I want to explore other parts of it. So, yeah. Where's the cowboy hat today? I didn't bring it downstairs. I'm sorry, Dan.
Oh.
I should have.
So you're thinking? So do you have a game design in mind for a third one already? Bouncing around?
I have 2 projects in mind, but which one I do depends on how well Rosewater does.
Are they both Vespuccia based?
No.
Interesting.
One is, the other is something else.
Completely different.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Oh.
And that's all you're getting out of me.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, so you would imagine there would be more even beyond a trilogy, which is really kind of awesome.
Well, I mean, I would hesitate to even call it a trilogy because Rosewater is not really a sequel to Lamplight City. It's just it's shared universe. It's not like whatever. But yeah, I mean, I guess you don't have to necessarily be sequels to be a trilogy. Yeah, anthology works.
Yeah, for sure.
That's good. Yeah.
That was another question I had.
Oh, Octorob. Octorob, it's great to see you, but go to bed. Octorob's in Scotland. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning for him.
Oh dear. No, this is my stream, so I'm saying Octorob, please stay up a little longer.
Actually, no, I'm wrong. I have to count on my fingers. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. It's going to be 2 o'clock in the morning for him.
Oh, TAM Octorob says yes.
Oh, Patoing is in Germany. That's right. Okay,
it's
yeah, so Patoing is even later. Patoing, it's almost 3 o'clock.
Thank you guys for hanging around with us and staying up late.
Yeah, my audience, Irreverent Pixel and Fractal Mind, my audience, my streaming time, it's not good for the Australians.
I see.
But it is good for the Europeans and the North Americans and our time zone. Well, and South Americans too, if I get any. But yeah, the Australians and East Asians are not being able to see my streams live, unfortunately. But yeah.
That was another question I had for you about other potential worlds or time periods you want to explore, but I guess.
Oh right.
Say no more. Say no more about that. But let's say something that you would potentially want to explore that you don't have anything concretely planned for. Is there anything? Time period, world, environment.
Well, here's the thing, and I don't know if this is gonna happen or not, but I really want to do a Southern Gothic, like, scary game.
Oh, interesting.
But I would set it in Vespuccia.
Of course.
So it would be like, I don't want to say it would be like Colonel's Bequest necessarily, but I would want to do like an old creepy Southern house with, stuff, but set in like the Vespuccian equivalent. That's not to say that that's what I'm going to do next, because it's not, but it's an idea. I'd like to try my hand at doing like a scary game, because I've never really done anything like that before.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Oh, I think that's super exciting.
We'll see.
Did you ever write like short stories or fiction or novellas or anything before you did game stuff, or was the game stuff your kind of primary creative outlet?
No, I tried to like do for my own purposes, I tried to like do a novelization of the prequel to like Ben Jordan 8 with his grandfather, and it was just so bad that I had to stop writing it.
Oh no.
But no, actually I wanted to make movies before I got into games. I never really actually finished any, but like, well, I made some short movies at like the AGS gathering at Mittens. But yeah, my dream career was like I wanted to be a director, and then I found adventure games, and I was like, oh, I can just do that instead. That's easier.
Oh, it is easier, I would imagine, definitely. Yeah, so, Fractal Mind Mike is commenting on the bread and the chilies in this the shot of the kitchen in Lamplight City.
Right. Yeah, I really like foreground objects. How do you feel about foreground objects and backgrounds?
I use them in the Crimson Diamond only really for exterior shots, so with trees and stuff in the foreground to create depth. But for me, I find for interior shots, the way that the Crimson Diamond rooms are done, it doesn't make sense to have them that way.
Right.
Because they're kind of like you can see like the edge of the wall and the floor and everything, and I feel like the difference in scale would mean that the room is really big.
Right. Yeah.
So I kind of avoid them in interior shots, but definitely I use them a lot in the outside shots of when you're walking around the lodge.
I wonder if it's well, I wouldn't say if it's an EGA thing, but I'm trying to think. I mean, thinking back to like the Sierra SCI games, I'm pretty sure I think like obviously King's Quest had like foreground trees and stuff, but yeah, I don't think many of them had foreground interiors, and if they did, they were just in shadow. So
Yeah, yeah, I feel the same. I would have to look through a bunch of screenshots, but I do get the feeling that is the case because the type of perspective or fake perspective they were using in those games, it didn't really mesh well with that for sure. And I guess that's another question I have. Speaking of EGA, did you ever think of making an EGA game when you got started, or CGA? Was it always going to be VGA for you?
I did make an AGI text parser game once.
What?
Yes, I did, but I don't want to tell you any more about it because it's horrible.
Oh my gosh, come on. Just okay. Well, you don't have to say the name so we won't look for it, but
it was a joke game that I made making fun of a friend of mine. Actually, a mutual friend of Betoing's and mine.
Okay.
Who went by or goes by Helm. A Greek gentleman who didn't like Roberta Williams, and so one mittens he took a copy of King's Quest 7 and we burnt it on a barbecue. Yes, Helm is a very good artist. He works for Mojang now. He burned a copy of King's Quest 7, so as a response I made him a little jokey game called Rosella Wilson Meets Helm.
Aww.
And it's basically an AGI torture simulator. Like, he picks the opening cutscene as she's walking down the street to Greensleeves, and then the white van pulls up and he takes her, and then like it's just one room, she's tied in a chair, and you play as him, and you get to like do all sorts of horrible things. You can actually let her go also.
Oh, great.
And it lets you, but yeah, it's really bad. Really, really bad. Like, did you ever see Reservoir Dogs?
Yes, of course.
So there's a bit where you can turn on the radio and it plays a little version of Stuck in the Middle with You. It's so bad. I'm gonna stop talking about it now. So
But that was your only foray into EGA then?
Was it? Let me think. I think it might have been, yes. But to answer your question, I don't think I'm skilled enough as an artist to do EGA and make it look good.
Oh, interesting, because I feel like I would not be good at doing VGA, actually.
Really?
No.
Okay.
No, there's too many colors and things.
Okay, no, that's fair. I don't think I would be able to do the dithering well.
Oh, it's so much fun, though.
I mean, to each their own.
Huh. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned like a novelization of the prequel to Ben Jordan 8, because I've had people ask me from time to time, would you ever make this, make Crimson Diamond as like a novella or something? And it's so different from like actual making a game and game design. I have no idea how that would work, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, because you're writing a linear story versus like making an interactive game.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that would be a fun challenge to entertain. Or even, how they did those King's Quest companion books? They'd actually have the walkthrough, but written kind of like a story. You
haven't been to... So, Rizulka, who... I don't know if you know Rizulka.
Yes, of course. Yeah, we met her. I met her at Adventure X.
That's right. I can never remember who knows who.
Of course.
So she does a weekly stream called The Grandma Hole on Saturdays, which I participate in, and one of her rewards is read from the tome of Peter Spears.
Oh my gosh.
And there are some doozies. I mean, she's currently reading through the Leisure Suit Larry companion or bedside companion or whatever it's called.
Oh, that's a great name, actually. That's a really good pun.
It's just so bad. The King's Quest companion, he says that all of the adventures are real. Then he just got emails from King Graham explaining everything.
Oh, right, because they talk about the kind of... He's got, like, they describe the keyboard as teeth, rows of teeth. I remember that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, with a big glass eye or something.
Yeah, it's really bad. And yeah, I have the Space Quest companion, which he wrote with his son. And it takes some liberties with the game, but yeah. I also have the novelizations of the Gabriel Knight games.
Oh, but thanks for the raid, Hatnix. Thank you so much.
Oh,
really
yes, hello, Hatnix.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, Right now, it's Francisco González for people who are just joining us. I'm developer of Rosewater currently, and of Lamplight City. And these are just some screenshots of Rosewater that I've got up right now. And the demo for Rosewater is available for a limited time. So if you want to play it, please check out the Steam page for that. Thank you so much for rating.
Please do.
So I'm gonna just...
Are the novelizations with... So I haven't read the second one. I started reading the first one, and it reads like a walkthrough, and I didn't get past like chapter 9 or chapter 3 or something, because each chapter is each day, and it's
I enjoyed them at the time when I was a kid and I read them. I have to say that I thought that was a really cool way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. They're not bad. They're not great literature.
Okay. Yes. Sure they're not.
And as far as I'm aware, there's a section, like the whole section in the police station is apparently a lot better in the book, and they actually adapted that in the remake of Gabriel Knight 1.
Ooh.
Like, instead of the whole, like, moving the beignet guy to create the distraction, there's, like, he goes around the back, and then there's, like, all the cops are possessed or something. I don't know. Anyway.
We're chugging, the video's chugging a little bit, so I'm hoping we're going to be okay. Yeah. I'm kind of getting a bit scared, but you know, guys, if the same thing happens again where we just freeze, I'll just do the whole restart again. If you guys stay in chat, we'll pop back.
It's stopped now. Uh-oh. Is the video frozen? Oh, not chugging anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
Scared of me.
Yeah, there's a Dig novel. There's someone mentioned a Seventh Guest novel as well.
Yeah.
Chris Gwynn.
There's 3 King's Quest novelizations also. But they're separate stories.
You know,
one of them, oh, you'll love this. One of them is called, it's a pun about weevils. Hold on.
Why would I love that? That already sounds terrible.
I was being sarcastic.
Okay. You've already lost me. There's no getting me back.
Here we go. Okay, there's 3. There's the floating castle.
Sure.
Which sounds intriguing, right? There's
no, Kingdom. It's not See No Weevil. Hear No Weevil.
Yes, it's See No Weevil.
No.
But then the other one is called Kingdom of Sorrow, which is what you'll be in if you read See No Weevil.
It makes it worse because the other ones are serious.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think the first 2 were too serious, and then they were like, oh, let's write one about, because the floating castle is about Alexander, and I think Kingdom of Sorrow is also about Alexander or Graham. And then when they were like, oh, let's make one about Rosella, they called it See No Weevil.
That's very upsetting.
It's about weevils. It is very upsetting.
It's about weevils?
I think so. Let me see if I can find a synopsis.
Please find a synopsis. Tanda Gasa's here. Tanda plays retro games as well. A great streamer.
Oh, hello.
Just did a shout out. Yes.
Hello, Tanda Gasa.
Tanda's awesome. Tanda Gasa. And an illustrator, an artist as well. Yes, please.
No. Oh my god.
Please. You already said you would. You can't back out now.
No, I'm just reading it. It's so bad. Rosella feigns an illness to avoid going to a wedding in a neighboring kingdom. With her parents safely out of the way who left Oswald in charge, I don't know who Oswald is, she begins meddling in kingdom affairs. She pulls rank whenever she can, spends money without heed, and scorns and belittles anyone she feels is less than she is. This causes a plague of weevils and then lizard-like slocks across the land. Wow. So... Oh, apparently she's 15 years old? Okay. That's terrible. Well...
That was published. Published?
That was published in paperback. And it's expensive because they're rare. Wow. It does sound like Tumblr fanfics, doesn't it?
How much is it? How much is it? I want to know
how much is it, Anna? Tell us.
The first 2 are reasonable.
So you got any more questions?
Yes, I do. Let's move on, please. Okay, yes, okay. So here's a question. This is what we need to, this is the important stuff we need to talk about.
Wait. $2,000! $2,000 for a King's Quest book. Oh my
bad
god!
one?
I can't believe this. I have to take a moment here to recover from this horror. What? Wow. That's bad.
It has to be a PDF somewhere.
I'm sure it is.
That
Maybe it was so bad that they burned them all, and there's only like three left. I don't condone burning books,
No.
by the way. But
Recycle if you must.
yeah. Anyway, sorry, your question.
Oh, but yeah, so this is a question that is very important. I think this needs to be addressed, and we've mentioned it in passing earlier, which is how do you back up your work?
Oh, I used Dropbox.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I used GitHub once and I hated it.
Yeah,
so
don't.
I just used Dropbox.
No. Yeah.
Oh, that's an exaggeration. There's one for only $1,995. All three for $1,200. That's a lot of money.
Someone should buy that and sell the
That's
other one separately for just, come on, turn it around.
$400 per book. That's expensive.
That it makes me sad because I know there are first editions of some amazing books that would not be $2,000.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, the way I back up, so when you use Dropbox, is it sort of the auto sync type of thing that it does, or do you just copy and paste your AGS folder into
I just
Dropbox
copy
every
and
time?
paste. Yeah, no, I don't work directly from Dropbox. At the end of the day, every day, I copy and paste my AGS folder into Dropbox, and I save that as a backup.
Do you compress it?
No.
So you don't use WinRAR to make a RAR or a zip or something?
No.
How big is your working file folder then?
I think it's like 4 gigabytes.
So every time?
Yeah. That's why I say I do it at the end of the day. I just do it and I leave.
But then do you have different ones of that then? So every day you're dumping 4 gigs into a Dropbox?
Well, okay, I say every day, but it's not every day. It's when I make major changes to the game.
But how many versions are in the Dropbox? Just one?
Yeah, just one. It's the most up-to-date version, and you can roll back versions up to 30 days, I think.
On Dropbox?
Yeah.
Because my working folder for the Crimson Diamond is like 150 megabytes, and I still zip it. I'll zip it to like 50.
Oh. Yeah, no, I just I upload 4 gigabytes. Yeah, I have Dropbox Pro.
Oh, it says here encoding. Oh, it says I got a message from OBS very briefly that should have stayed up. It said encoding overloaded. Consider turning down video settings or using a faster.
Oh yeah,
encoding.
I get that. I get that every now and then. Don't worry about that.
Can I do that on the fly or just ignore it?
Nah, just ignore it.
Okay, just gonna ignore it.
Anyway, I'm the only one working on the game, so I don't really need to worry about version control. It's not like someone else is gonna go in and make changes that are gonna get messed up. But yeah, you get 2 terabytes of space on Dropbox Pro, so I don't. Space is no object, and yeah, my internet's good, so.
Because I'm thinking about how I back up, and I back up. I've got Google Drive, I've got Adobe Creative Cloud. So I back up to Google Drive, Adobe Creative Cloud, OneDrive, and an external, and on the desktop.
Yes, Jadim Jedi. I do everything except the music, which is writing and design and art and animation and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, same here. We just need those darn musicians. We're not Lucas Pope. We can't do everything.
Yeah. I mean, you probably could just make like hummy noises or something, but.
But you mentioned that you actually like the fact that there's one aspect of your games that you don't have complete control over. To me,
yeah, I do, because it means I can still be. I can still get excited about something that I don't have to work on. It's a nice little treat when I get a piece of music and I'm like, oh wow, this sounds so cool, and then I put it in the game and I'm like, oh my god, it's so cool. You're
right.
It's nice to be able to feel excited about your game again. Like right now, I'm getting back bits of edited script, like finalized dialogue, and I'm putting it in. I'm playing through scenes, and I'm like, oh boy, it actually makes sense now, which is nice.
Hatanda says if you worked on a game, you'd make the entire soundtrack out of mouth pop noises.
There you go.
I can't even do that as much.
Actually, I did play this on the Lamplight City, on the Rosewater.
Oh, it's a mouth harp. Oh my god.
Yeah. Actually, you can hear it in the demo.
Oh, in the Rosewater demo?
Yeah, if you find the bar brawl scene, you can hear it in the music in the bar brawl scene.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And also, you are also a voice actor. Do you do voice acting in your games?
I try to stay out of my own games.
Interesting. Why?
I don't know, because I feel it's a bit self-indulgent to voice act in your own game.
Why?
Because it is.
How? I don't know. I mean,
if I'm already doing commentary tracks, I figure people don't want to hear my voice again. Besides, I want to pay professional actors to, like... If I do voice things in my own games, it's usually very, very small roles.
I see.
Or things that, like a Golden Wake, I played one character because I needed him to speak Spanish, and I didn't want to, like, find an actor for a tiny role that was like, I need a Spanish speaking actor, even though I probably could have found one, but I just did it myself. And yeah, Shardlight, I was the voice of, like, the speaker announcements, but I didn't play any of the characters. So, but that was because I liked Dishonored and I wanted to be like, attention citizens. And in Lamplight City, I played the parrot because that was really stupid.
What, just parrot noises, or did it talk?
No, it talked.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh, maybe you didn't get the best ending of Case 1.
No. Yeah, that would be the best ending to a parrot talking.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a puzzle I lifted from Star Tropics, which also involved the parrot. So I played the parrot. I also played a sheriff in the cutscene in Case 2 at the end of Case 2 if you accuse the right suspect.
Oh, sweet. So you pop in here and there, kind of like those cameos that M. Night Shyamalan would do.
Oh God! Please don't compare me to him. But yeah, I've done more substantial voice roles for other games.
Gotcha.
Probably my biggest one is Sam Durkin in the various Wadjet games where he appears.
Cool. The Crimson Diamond does not. I think someone asked this in chat a while back. Crimson Diamond does not have voice acting. It won't be having voice acting. That's part of the era. Those games.
Can I stream it and do all the voices myself?
Please do. Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Nancy Maple. Wait, no, she's not Southern though. She's Canadian.
You can do it anyway. It's fine.
No, she's from Ontario. Why would she be Southern?
I don't know, for fun.
But then it's too much like Laura Bow.
It's fine. Edmund Detour wants to know, what's your least favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Oh God, Signs.
I didn't see Signs.
That was the last one I saw.
I think I only saw ones that I liked.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can't. Yeah, the ones that didn't look good to me, I didn't see, so I only saw decent ones, I think.
Right. Signs is garbage. It should have been 2 different movies.
Aw. Yeah, I can't think of a bad one that I've seen because I stopped after all because I'm like, I know not to anymore.
Did you see Old?
No. Was that a movie?
That's his most recent movie. It's about a beach where the people get old in a day.
No.
Yeah.
I saw something like that on Twitter.
Really
I thought
bad.
it was a joke.
No, it looks really, really bad.
Cool. Cool. Yes, just learned about the Canadian dainty accent. Edmund Detour, I don't know what the Canadian dainty accent is.
What's the Canadian dainty accent?
Interesting. Ooh, a few scenes from Lady in the Water were shot at your high school. Interesting. Nice. Deluxe text. For The Shape of Water, the Guillermo del Toro movie, there are some scenes that were shot at the university by my house. Nice. That's cool.
Wait, going back to the voices in your game.
Yes.
Or lack of voices in your game. Isn't, oh man, it's been a while since I played the demo, so you'll have to forgive me. I don't remember the names of all the characters. What's the blonde lady? Margot. Isn't she French-Canadian?
She is French-Canadian.
Oh, goody. I love doing a French-Canadian
accent.
accent.
I love that you have a French-Canadian accent. Oh, I can't
Well,
wait.
I have an attempt at a French-Canadian
No, that's
accent.
even better. That's even better.
So, yeah. But I'm not going to do it now. More questions, please.
Yes, of course. Okay, more questions. Okay. When you're writing, Lamplight City and Rosewater, are there certain themes that you find yourself returning to, or that you like to explore from one game to another?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I kind of feel like I don't really set out necessarily to explore a theme. Like, I don't start making a game because I'm like, I want to explore this theme. I want to say this. It's more that it comes up while I'm designing the game, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess this is what the game is ultimately about.
Right. I think that's a natural way to go about it, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Why Slav and Grundislav? Because it's the ancient Germanic form of Gonzalez. That's why, Mousimus. It was actually Gundislav, but Grundislav sounds better.
Yeah, I think when coming up with stories, there's more. So that's another question I had is, when you're coming up with the stories and everything. So do you start off with the setting? Because I know Vespucci is a very compelling setting, but do you start off with a story or a character or a situation or a certain dramatic moment that kind of sticks in your head?
Again, it depends on the game. Yeah, with Lamplight City, like I knew I wanted to make like a Victorian detective game, and I was gonna just originally make it in London or whatever, but then I was like, oh, I'll just make it alternate history, and then so I created the world, and just kind of went from there. And then with Rosewater, I was like, okay, well, I have this world, and I want to explore the Old West. Let me come up with a story in that setting. So, yeah.
Let's say for the Ben Jordan games, did those start with the subject matter in the story or the character?
Well, Ben Jordan was interesting because it came from a failed project that was just going to be like a jokey game about looking for the AGS source code and like going around the world and meeting all the different AGSers. And then I was like, well, I still think it would be cool to make like a game about a guy who travels the world. And then I was like, well, I could make it about a paranormal investigator who investigates local lore and legends. And then it was just kind of like, okay, well, I have this character and I know what he does. So now it's just, I can just make games about whatever I want. They're set in real places, so all I have to do is the research about those places and their particular things of folklore or whatever.
Which kind of leads me to another question, which is how much of your own personal interests or hobbies kind of led you to this kind of story you're going to tell or the kind of game you're going to make?
Some more than others. I mean, obviously the first Ben Jordan game was about the Florida skunk ape.
And you are from Florida.
And I grew up in Miami, so I knew about the skunk ape. And then it was just based on things that I thought were interesting. And with Lamplight City, like I don't know. I wanted to make like each case I thought about just like, you know, like the first case is based on actually like the story of Madame Lollery from New Orleans, like the infamous woman who like tortured her slaves. And each case I just kind of I don't know, I kind of just got ideas for cool things. I actually got the idea of this for the spontaneous combustion case in Lamplight City from an episode of Doctor Who that I happened to watch. It was like the more recent Peter Capaldi thing, and it was like a guy who, like, people had burned. There was like a guy with a flamethrower arm or something, and they were like, "Oh, spontaneous combustion." I was like, "Oh yeah, spontaneous combustion. That's cool. Let me do a case about that." So yeah, it just kind of comes from. Sometimes I make things because it's like, "Oh, I really like this thing. I want to explore it," or "I really like this particular thing. I want to put it in." Like the spiritualist element. I wanted to like put a spiritualist character, so I had the supposed medium in Lamplight City, and like I don't know, I have, you know, the typical like snake oil salesman type archetype in Rosewater because I think that's fun to write for, that sort of thing, you know. So
Edmund
I'm proud
Detour...
to report I've not spontaneously combusted today.
Oh,
Great.
good. Oh, that's nice. It's always nice.
Good.
Edmund Detour is just explaining what Canadian Dainty is. Canadian English included a class-based social elect known as Canadian Dainty, treated as a marker of upper-class prestige in the 19th and early 20th centuries. Canadian Dainty was marked by the use of some features of British English pronunciation, resulting in an accent similar but not identical to the mid-Atlantic accent known in the United States. Do you know what a Mid-Atlantic sounds like, Francisco?
It sounds like Katharine Hepburn. It sounds
Oh.
something like this.
Oh, I love that. I love that accent.
That's a
actually.
Mid-Atlantic accent. Chris Gwynn, where did you come up with the forced voting scandal thing? I didn't come up with that. That was a real phenomenon called cooping, and that is one of the suspected. That's one of the things that is theory as to how Edgar Allan Poe actually died. They think he was the victim of a cooping scheme, and because they found him rambling around like drunk and not wearing his own clothes, and so they think he might have been abducted and forced to vote, and he just kind of like died from alcohol poisoning.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
Well, speaking of like the narrative and the game design aspect of your stuff, how do you plan and organize your writing in the game design parts? Do you have spreadsheets? Oh, but do you have just the notepad? Do you have a system?
Well, I didn't have a system up until Lamplight City. Up until then, I just wrote all my dialogue on the fly in the game, and then, I mean, in AGS, and then I would go back and tweak it as necessary. But with Rosewater, because on Lamplight City I had a script editor, I had to like copy and paste all of the text into a Google Doc. And then paste it back in. So instead of going through that whole rigmarole again, I decided to just write Rosewater like a script externally. So that's what I'm doing with Rosewater. I say like a script, but I'm doing it room by room. So like, it's not like a movie script. It's just I'm writing all the dialogue and planning all the dialogue choices and stuff as I write them out externally. So has that changed your approach or how the tone or anything about the writing? No, not really. Not really. I don't know. It's just it definitely makes the game a lot weirder to play now because there's just no dialogue in it. Huh. I don't actually know how to use the dialogue feature in AGS because I'm doing the text parser stuff, so I don't know how to use any of that at all. Right. I did a couple AGS basics videos. I did not include that because I don't know how to use them whatsoever. With the Ben Jordan series, you did 8 of them. Yes. Also, good night, Judith Butler's Lover. Oh, good night, Judith Butler's Lover. Thank you for coming. Oh, we did not play the Crimson Diamond the trailer. Oh no. Oh no. Do it. Okay, let's do that. You reminded me, Judith Butler's Lover, about that. So I'm gonna play the Crimson Diamond trailer. Let me turn off this other music, and we'll do that really quick. It's just a minute, and we're going to do it. Okay, here's the Crimson Diamond trailer. This is my game and what I'm working on, and it'll be out at some point or other.
Crimson, Ontario was once a prosperous, lively mining town. But that was a long time ago. Now it's quiet, nearly deserted, and some folks aim to keep it that way. Nancy Maple is an aspiring mineralogist, assigned to follow the trail of a dazzling diamond. An intriguing cast of characters has converged under one roof, each meaning to get their own way. Or else. Will Nancy untangle the mysteries and machinations before it's too late? Will the sleepy town of Crimson shine once more? Find out in The Crimson Diamond, an upcoming adventure game by Julia Minamata. The Crimson Diamond demo is available on Steam and itch.io for Windows PC and Mac OS.
Okay, that was that. Thank you, Judith Butler's Lover, for sticking around for that. I really appreciate it. Hooray. Hold on, let me just move this over a little bit again, for whatever reason. Yeah, I was going to ask you, Francisco, so you did 8 Ben Jordan games. So what made you stop doing Ben Jordan games? Why didn't you just keep on with Ben Jordan? Because I got tired of it. And when I sat down and I wrote out the series, I planned for 8 games. Holy cow. And, why did you do that? Because they weren't like big games. They were, I made the first one in 2 weeks, and I made the second one in like 2 months, and then the development time kind of grew exponentially after that. But
they weren't like long-term projects, really, except for the last one, which I got a day job and it took me 4 years. But still, also at that point, like I was already exploring the option of going commercial, and I was like, well, I need to finish the Ben Jordan series, so.
Well, yeah, I guess that naturally transitions. Before I ask the next question, with that naturally transitions to which I will forget. Patoing is asking. I was wondering, is Kimmy based on my mom? And she's actually not based on my mom, but she kind of is based on my dad's side of the family, in that my dad's side of the family, so my grandmother was born in Vancouver actually, and my great grandmother emigrated from Japan in her early teens. And so we have a really long history of being in Canada, and I wanted to show that, and I wanted to represent that aspect of who was living in Canada in the early 1900s, because I think there can be this misconception that there's only certain type of people or certain nationalities that were there, but my own personal history, I know that that is certainly not the case, and I wanted to include that for that reason.
Cool.
Yeah. So the transition. Yeah, I wanted to ask you. So you mentioned you were transitioning from doing the Ben Jordan games to doing commercial releases. So how did you come to that decision, or how did that process go?
Basically, Dave Gilbert was like, "Hey, I'm publishing games now. If you have a game you want me to publish, I'll publish it." And I was like, "Oh, that's great, but I need to finish Ben Jordan and come up with an idea first." That was in like 2007 or 8.
And so he extended that offer because of all the previous Ben Jordan games you had done. Is that the
Yeah,
case?
he knew I guess he did it because he knew I could finish games, even though he's still to this day has never played any of the Ben Jordan games. So that's, I guess that's a pretty high compliment.
Is a high compliment that he never played them, or the fact that he offered the
Well, the fact that he trusted my ability
Yes.
to make games of
Yes.
quality without ever having played any of them.
No, I think it's important to finish things. I mean, I still don't have
Yeah.
that experience of finishing a game, and that's something I would like to talk to you about in detail, because I don't know how that happens.
No,
Yes.
you'll get there.
Oh my god.
But I definitely think being able to finish a game is like one of the most
Yeah.
important. Oh, hello, VGA 256. Is this a joke? What got me interested in Coral Gables, Florida? I'll tell you what got me interested. I really wanted to explore the birthplace of Capstone Entertainment. That was my true goal with a Golden Wake. I wanted to let people know about the birthplace of Capstone. Don't worry about it, Julia. You're better off not knowing.
Okay, I believe you and I trust you.
You ever play Zorro? Or the pinnacle of video game entertainment.
No.
Or Wayne's World, the Wayne's World adventure game.
No.
Or the Beverly Hillbillies game. Or Homie D Clown, or the Dark Half.
I remember ads for Homie D Clown.
Okay, well, those games and many more were made by this little software company called Capstone. And Capstone games have this reputation for being really bad.
Right.
Although I do have Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and it's fine.
Oh, I played that one. That one was pretty good. I did like that.
Yeah, but they were based in Coral Gables, Florida.
I've seen someone play Beverly Hillbillies. Oh man.
Yeah, which is also where Golden Wake is based. So.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, so now you know. But going back to what we were saying before.
Yeah, the commercial release.
So I had an idea for a trilogy of game. Well, it was like a triptych game. It was 3 games, 3 short games that all you played as a different character in each game, but it all revolved around one event, and so you would play as like a different character in a different perspective of the same event in the 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't really work, so I kind of abandoned that idea. And then I made a Golden Wake.
And how long did that take? A couple of years, I think?
I started it in, I want to say like 2012-ish, and it came out in October of 2014, so a little bit under 2 years.
That's amazing. Well, you have a lot of practice at doing it, so I mean...
And the art in that game wasn't great, so it wasn't like... What was the theme to the triptych game? So it was, I don't really remember too much, but I know that it was more like I was throwing ideas out about like interesting characters to play. I think the central thing was like some sort of murder mystery, something real boring. But in the first game you played as a socialite. In the second game you played as a male prostitute, and in the third game you played as like an artist. Or maybe it was the other way around. You played as the artist first. Um, but I ended up taking the male prostitute and making a game called Backdoor Man with Edmunditor actually in the
Oh,
chat
fantastic.
for the TIG Source adult slash edutainment jam slash competition thing. So yeah, so it sort of survived. I actually read a book called Miami Psychic. That was a really terrible book, but it was about like a psychic who was talking all about like the cons and stuff she did, and I thought,
Oh,
that would
no.
make an interesting adventure game, and that's sort of where the idea came from, even though it wasn't about a psychic.
Patoing, thanks for the follow. That's
Yeah.
another question I had for you actually was,
Yeah.
are there books or movies that you read that were really good research source material inspiration for your projects?
There was a ton of there was a ton of books for A Golden Wake. Um, there have been some books for Rosewater. I read a book about gunslingers,
Hmm.
which actually gave me an idea for a puzzle,
Nice.
which was fun. And I have one about Tesla also that I started reading but didn't finish. And I've been trying to watch like some westerns, but I don't want to. I made it a point not to play Red Dead Redemption 2 because I don't want to be too influenced. But there's a few things, yeah.
Speaking of Red
How
Dead,
about you?
oh, for
I
me,
feel like you should answer these questions too. I'm talking too much.
well, see, I didn't prep answers for these questions that I was asking you. I
Oh.
just prepped the questions.
Is that right?
Well, I've shared on stream. I've shared my book about Ontario ghost towns by Ron Brown that I think is a
Yes.
fantastic book
Yes.
because it gives you kind of like the origin stories of any number of obscure small towns, and it's almost like history from a different perspective because it tells you about how little towns got established. There was only a few different reasons why. Some started out as forts, some started as ports, some started out as crossroads towns that would just happen to be at a confluence of travel routes and trade routes, and some things would naturally spring up from that intersection, and the reasons why those fell into disuse. Well, yes, I guess once the American and British hostilities died down, the fort towns didn't necessarily have to be around as much. The dissolution of port towns had to do with steamships and how you weren't using schooners and everything and other and smaller vessels to haul goods across the lake as much. You had big steamships, and so those kind of fell into disuse. And the crossroad towns either had railroads built through them or not, in which case if you didn't have a train station to bring people in and around, then your town would kind of fall apart as well because you weren't getting that same type of trade and residential type of things. So those are the general categories, but it was like mining and natural resources. Of course, when those resources were overmined or if they overlogged, for instance, then those places also would die down because of that fact. So it was a really good setting, helping me create the setting for Crimson Ontario. To make it realistic because there's so many stories that were very much like that. So that was the number one.
Yeah, so you made the decision to create your own town.
Yes.
And did you do that because you didn't want to be like restricted by real places or any other reason?
Oh, we're going to turn this around now that the second half
I
of the
am.
stream is Francisco asking me questions. The reason I did it is because the whole conceit of the story is are diamonds found on this land or not? And so I wanted to make my own place up because I wanted it to be an open question.
Okay.
Historically, and also just to have it be kind of give it a bit of extra layer of mystery on top, because diamonds have been found in northern Ontario. So geologically it does work, but the idea is so tantalizing that there's this place that you don't know about that could have this immense amounts of riches, but you can't really pinpoint where that is, and I like that idea. In fact, the Steam store description used to say the fictional town of Crimson, Ontario, but I got some really good advice about taking that fictional out, because if you Google map Crimson, Ontario, you won't find anything, which is good, because then you kind of wonder, well, did that place ever actually exist? And I love that feeling of not knowing, which kind of adds to the spice a little bit.
That's cool. Well, how would you feel if people like started coming to Ontario looking for Crimson Ontario, like because they want to find the ghost town where the diamond was?
Well, I hope they would do research first. And because like Google Map it or something, because you won't find it. In fact, I was going to call the town Garnet, Ontario originally, because it was an old garnet mining town, supposedly. But there's a place called Garnet, even though it's really tiny, and so I didn't. That's one of the reasons I decided to rename the town. VGA 256 wants to know, have I ever been to the big nickel city of Sudbury? Indeed, I have. Yeah, Sudbury is big on nickel. There's a ton of natural resource types of places up in northern Ontario. And if you wanted to get a vague geographic idea of where Crimson would be, it's in this. I think it's called the James Bay Lowlands, which is north around Lake Superior, but even further, much further north of Lake Superior, really. Are there Crimson Ontario tourist shirts? Spread the mystique. There are postcards. So I've got greetings from Crimson postcards that I've got printed up that I give out at events and stuff.
T-shirts should be the next step.
Yes, there are the Crimson Diamond T-shirts I have, but I don't have Crimson Ontario ones, which would actually be really cool. Yeah, for sure.
I had another question, but it slipped my mind.
Oh God, I'm glad it slipped your mind.
Oh,
because I'm gonna ask you detailed questions about your development cycle. So you do voice acting, of course, which means that you have to have the game completely locked, pretty much, in terms of writing. Before you can proceed to doing the voice acting and and recording and all that stuff. So I remember reading or hearing about Lamplight City and how many months it takes after the fact that the game is locked, that you needed to record, do mouth flappy and everything like that after the fact.
Do mouth flappy. That's brilliant.
That's what it was, wasn't it? You had to do that all by hand.
Yes, I had to do the lip sync. Yes.
Yeah. So in terms of development time, what percentage or what fraction of development time is devoted to the voice acting and everything that's related to that?
Well, again, it depends on how much you have. Like Lamplight City, I mentioned there were 70 speaking roles. So
God. I'll shudder every time you say that.
Yeah, there was a lot of talking. But no, actually, the voice acting, we got it all done in 2 weeks. It was we recorded 1 week in December and another week in January. I think it was 30 sessions, 32-hour sessions total, spread out over those 2 weeks. And then I had hours and hours and hours of voices to edit. And that was fine. But then, the lip sync was what did me in, because I had to do
That's
the lip
what it's
sync.
called. It's not called mouth flappies. It's called
lip sync. I like mouth flappy better. I had to do the mouth flappy, which is what took the longest, because the program I was using was not great for... I had used it before in like the Ben Jordan games, but of course those were a lot smaller, and I didn't take into account how many lines there were going to be. And that's considering that like not even the entire game is lip synced. Like it's the close-up portrait, so it's really only like half the game, something like 4,000 something lines, which is still a lot. Thankfully I am using another program for Rosewater, which is automated, and it is not it's not going to be that big a deal.
That's what VGA 256 was asking. How are the automated sync tools these days compared to manual mouth flaps?
I've tried. So the program I'm using is called Rhubarb, and it's great, but I still feel like, I don't know, there's just something about the other one I use, which is called Papagayo, where you have to like manually move the phonemes. You just get more precision and more control doing that. So for like close-up portraits, I prefer that. But since Rosewater is higher resolution, I'm not doing portraits. It's just the characters talking, the sprites talking. So I,
Right.
it, yeah, it's the rhubarb is what they use for Thimbleweed Park,
Hmm.
and I don't know if any other more recent games have used it, but the lip sync is fine. I've done some tests, and it's not like perfect, but it's good enough, and like you can't really see the detail that much at that size anyway. So it's as long as it looks like the mouse are moving and like pausing, it's perfectly fine.
So was that the appeal of doing the animated speech at that size? Is that you could dispense with the portraits and all that extra work altogether?
Yes, and also I'm just not good at drawing faces, so I
Oh,
was happy to not have to do close-up portraits for a change. So
I feel like it's unusual to not have the character portraits close-ups in games.
I don't know. I mean, the close-up portraits was really like a Sierra thing.
That's true.
LucasArts
That's
never
true.
had close-up portraits,
Yeah.
so I mean, I just liked it because I always thought you could get more facial detail, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't miss them.
Hmm. Hmm.
And anyway, like with bigger sprites, I like being able to do the body language stuff and like the facial expressions and things like that. So,
That is true. Because you're working at what resolution are you currently working at now?
1280 by 720.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
crazy.
that's true, Toying. Some of the early LucasArts games had a few close-ups. Yeah, very true, like Monkey Island and Loom.
And they were
But I'm
beautiful.
talking about those were like few and far between. I'm talking about like the Sierra games where every single character had a
Hmm.
close-up speech view. Um, but yeah, no, it's true. They definitely did have them. They just weren't the standard.
Right. And yeah, I mean, I can definitely appreciate that you're working at, 4 times the resolution that I'm working at pretty much. I'm working at 320 by 200, so I've got these big chunky pixels and a lot of
Yeah.
wiggle room in terms of
Yeah.
how I animate. Because I know if you guys watch Wild West Wednesday, which I will put in chat again, which are 1 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays, you can sometimes catch Francisco rotoscoping animation. So performing
Yes.
these precise movements where the clothing is moving and he dresses up and it's really fun. And he wears
I do.
hats. And it's great because you got this level of realism that I'm not gonna get with my little like Nancy Sprite, and she's like 64 pixels or something, and
You
and
could do rotoscoping at that resolution.
I don't want to
I used
though.
to.
Did
Okay.
you?
Yeah.
Oh
I've been
man.
rotoscoping since Ben Jordan Case 4. Also, Twing thinks I'm silly for going so high res.
I think it's admirable. I
I'm
admire
curious why
that.
I'm curious why you think it's silly.
It's a lot of work. I mean, we can't even tell you that
Well,
because you know how much work it is. But it just
here's the thing though. Here's the thing though. You and I are doing to it well, no, it's really not a lot of work because we're doing very different styles. Toying is a pixel artist. I wouldn't do pixel art at that resolution. Like pixel by pixel pencil tool type pixel art. I wouldn't do that. That is a lot of work. My backgrounds are painted with brushes. So I don't mind doing it at that size. Yeah, that would be crazy. Like I'm still doing the characters in pixel art, but it's really not that crazy to do them. Like they mesh well with the backgrounds at that resolution. I haven't quite decided to do like the broken sword style like line art for the characters. I don't know that I would ever really want to do that. But yeah, no, I totally get it. That if I was placing pixels one by one, I wouldn't do it at that high of a resolution.
Anna's saying she's really enjoying this length. I love that you guys are able to go into depth about all sorts of things. This is so much fun, especially the fact that it's developer to developer, which I kind of really enjoyed too. And I was really looking forward to this conversation with Francisco for that reason, because the stuff that I like to watch or listen to a lot of the time is when you get two people who are doing the same kind of thing, because they can ask questions of each other that maybe only might be of interest to those two people, but hopefully it's hopefully questions that they might not get from someone who doesn't actually do the
Yeah,
stuff, right? So it's
yeah,
kind of nice to have a conversation like this.
yeah.
Um,
Sierra totally did. I don't know that they did rotoscoping per se, like the same stuff I do, but they definitely did video capture. Um, they definitely filmed actors walking on treadmills and then they digitized them, and I think they cleaned them up a little bit, but they didn't do what I do, which is filming and then tracing over with pixels.
So I want to know
So,
about the evolution of that process, how you kind of started, what equipment you were using, how long it would take versus how you've
well,
managed to evolve that.
it's funny you asked that because I gave an entire talk about this
I saw that
last
talk.
year. You did?
I did.
Okay. Well, then you already know the answer.
I know the answer, but I forgot most of it, and maybe you can say it in less words this time. I don't know.
Okay. Well, basically, I started off with a really crappy digital camera. I would take individual frame pictures of me walking, so I would like approximate the walk.
Ben Jordan 4? Is this when you started?
Yes, that's when I started Ben Jordan 4, and then little by little, I started getting better equipment, by which I mean digital cameras and my phone, and then I started taking videos, and that's what I do now. I take videos, import them, export the frames, and then do it. I put the animation together first, which I used to just eyeball it and do it frame by frame. And now I just put the animation together and then trace over it. I did not use Polaroids at first, Chris. Also, VGA is asking a question for both of us. Do you prefer small color palettes or wide open palettes?
Francisco the guest, please.
I don't even use palettes. I just pick whatever color comes to mind, and I'm just like, whatever.
Interesting. Because I feel that even if it is a wide open palette, there would be specific colors or temperatures of colors that you would kind of.
Oh well, I've never been good at color theory. I just do what feels right.
Well, here.
And if I don't know what feels right, I usually just default to blue, orange complementary colors because that always makes me happy.
Yes, they stand out quite a bit.
Yeah.
What I tend to do is here. Before I get into that, I just think there's a really. I've done this before in Photoshop on some of the art streams, and a nice way to kind of make the colors feel like they're harmonious is just to stick like a glaze like a glaze layer of a color, like a pale yellow or orange or whatever on top, and like you choose a layer setting, one of the layer settings that you think looks the best, and you kind of really dial it down just so it gives makes everything feel like all the colors are related because you're just applying a certain wash of color over everything. So that's a cheat I use all the time.
I just learned how to use I forget what they're called in CS2, photo filters.
Photo filters.
Photo filters let you apply like either warm or cool or particular colors to a background.
Yeah, I just use another layer. Yeah, for that.
Yeah, it's basically that. It's like a mask. But actually, I've been playing around with lighting, and it's something I've done for a long time, but I've kind of leaned more into it now, is using overlay layers. So if I want to like emphasize that there's like a warm glow coming out of a particular set of lamps, I'll just like paint a big old yellow blotch and then set it to an overlay layer, and then it makes it look a lot nicer. But the thing is, I've always like held back. So now I'm making more bold choices, and I'm like, I should have been a lot more bold with this. So, yeah.
Yeah, Pretoing as a pixel artist is a proponent of contained palettes, even if it's a wide open palette, using colors and mix from them, and only pick a new color if you really need it. So for me,
that does not surprise me.
Yeah, for me, with the palettes and everything, I like the smaller the better. I use the EGA 16 color default palette. And I think it's so much fun to play with it and problem solve with it, because when you only have a very limited amount of tools, then you have to really think about what you're doing and how you're going to use everything. So that's what I love the most about it. And in fact, all the other types of pixel art I've done have been this palette or fewer colors. So I've done one CGA piece. For 1900 Hot Dog, which is a comedy site that I recommend to everybody. In fact, I think I have a shortcut for that. I still like to throw that up. It's wonderful. Yes, 1900 Hot Dog. There's a podcast as well, and it's a really good humor site. They do free articles, but it's also a Patreon site if you want an article every week. But yeah, so I did a piece for them that was kind of like an old school DOS game CGA color palette, and then for the play date, it's black and white. And that kind of stuff excites me. And then lower resolution pixel art as well. So not just 320 by 200. The playdate is 400 by 240, I think, so it's still really small, like low resolution.
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, I was an illustrator for 10 years, and so I'm used to working at much higher resolutions and much higher levels of detail, which is why
Right.
maybe I find it so appealing to have set the restrictions be so appealing to me, because I have to force myself to be smarter about what I'm doing.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like for the character sprites, I wouldn't say that I stick to necessary. Well, I guess with Rosewater, I've been doing a little bit more. Like, I haven't been going too crazy with colors. I've been sticking to a specific set of colors for most of the characters and stuff. Um, but yeah, like the fewer with Rosewater, I'm trying to do more high contrast colors in the sprites. So like I have a dark, a medium, and a light.
Mm.
Whereas before I used to have like 4 color ramps per area. So it was like dark, 2 midtones, and a highlight. But the fewer colors you use, the easier it is to animate. So you
Yes.
don't have to worry about like, oh my god, I have to make sure all the color ramps go through. Um, have you ever played the Lost Files of Sherlock Holmes, the case of the serrated scalpel?
Yes, it's gorgeous.
Yes, but those sprites have gradients on them, and it boggles my mind how they animated that, because not only do they have gradients, but they also like, well, I guess this is cycling or palette shifting or whatever, but like they changed their palette based on what environment, what room they're in, and it scares me.
Yeah, I don't even think I ever tried to really analyze that. I just remember playing it as a kid and just kind of being blown away by what it looked like and how it looked. It did
Mm,
look different to me than a lot of other stuff out there,
mm,
because it's kind of VGA, but it's VGA but done a bit differently,
yeah,
which I think is kind of awesome. And the fact that sometimes when I see EGA art, you can in the different Sierra games with different EGA, you can see style. There's still stylistic differences on how people problem solve the same type of scene, really.
mhm.
So it's nice to see that these kind of distinctions across art. When I see Francisco's art, I can always kind of tell that it's his art, because
Well,
he's
that's good.
making the same kind of
I've never
decisions.
thought I've had a style.
Oh, you definitely everyone has a style, and
I
then
know that, but I've never been able to be like, oh yeah, this is what my style is. It's just like I draw like shit. Who cares?
that oh my goodness. What I love about having the Ben Jordan series and watching every game, you just get better every game, and that's something
Oh,
else I
thanks.
wanted to ask. So just not even specific to the art, because the development of seeing as a self-taught artist, you going from Ben Jordan 1 to Rosewater is
Hmm.
really amazing and inspiring for people to see, especially because a lot of times when people want to make a game, that is like their major barrier or obstacle they find is like, well, I
Yeah,
can't draw, so I'm not going to
yeah,
make a game. Um,
right.
but
It didn't stop me.
well, that's the thing is it didn't, right? And I don't want to say that kind of like to make fun or anything like that, but it certainly didn't. And like as you progressed, you were able to solve those problems better and better and better. And now you're doing like what is it? You said 1280 by 720
Yeah,
game with painted backgrounds, and the fact
yeah.
that this progression has happened because yeah, you produce and you keep producing, and I just want to say people who are letting that stop them, don't let that stop you. You
No.
can still make a game.
Also, keep in mind that like my progression has been over the past
Yes.
15 years.
Which is also very inspiring. Is
Well,
that's a long time. You're a veteran.
yeah, well, I'm old, like M. Night Shyamalan's movie. Um,
You went to a
yeah.
beach and all of a sudden you had 12 or 15 games under your belt.
Oh, I wish it
I
was
want to
that
do that.
easy.
Tell me where
Are
that
you
is.
kidding me? No, I mean like, and also I've only ever really practiced by making games. Like I've never
Yep.
done art study on my own as much. Like someone like Ben Chandler, for example, like
Hmm.
he's really leveled up because he took the time to, do studies and draw for fun and like improve his technique that way. I haven't done that. Like my practice has just been drawing a bunch of backgrounds for a bunch of adventure games. Um, but also like obviously the Ben Jordan games were freeware, so I could get away with having crappy art. I mean, there's that too. I think for a really long time, I struggled with like I don't know if it was a self-imposed stigma or what, but I definitely had this idea of like, okay, well, this is not good enough for a commercial game.
Right.
Which I mean, I think is in a way is valid, because if people pay money for something, they expect a certain level of quality. A Golden Wake, like, I look back at it now, I'm like, this is not good. This is not a commercial game quality. Like, this is awful.
Well, I have to ask then: did you have many criticisms about the art
Of my own art?
for the Golden Wake? For Golden Wake?
Well, for one thing, I didn't know what perspective was.
Well, no.
VGA just points out there.
Well, what I mean
that-
is that when the thing is here's how I feel about it is because when you're commercially releasing a Golden Wake, it's got screenshots. So if someone's
sure.
buying it, they know what it looks like. So my question
Well, yeah.
being is, when someone buys it, are they complaining about the art quality?
No one has ever said, "Oh
Well,
my
see,
god,
that's
this
my
game
point.
looks like crap."
That's my point.
I
right?
say that because I think it looks like crap. But I've actually seen reviews where people are like, "Oh, the art's gorgeous," and this. I'm like,
See?
"What the hell is wrong
There
with
you
you?"
go. Because that's the thing. So you were saying, in terms of there's a certain level of quality people expect from a commercial release. Now might be some truth to that, but at the same
Yeah.
time, they have screenshots, so the people who bought it are aware of the
Right.
style.
Yeah,
Or,
people are nice. They won't say
Yes,
it. That's
yes.
right. I think most of the time people won't say
Yeah.
it. I mean, sometimes you get people who say, "Oh, this is ugly," and they're right. And I mean, if they're constructive about it, that's great. If they're assholes about it, that's another thing. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I've been making games for 20 something years. I've been making games commercially since 2013, so that's what,
8 years?
And I only just feel now, like with Lamplight City was the first game that I made where I was like, okay, this is passable. Because I look at some of the backgrounds, I'm like, oh god, I got really lazy. Like there's some backgrounds where I can tell I really cut corners and stuff. But as a whole, I was like, okay, this is fine. Rosewater, I think looks good. Like I'm like, okay, it looks good. But it's taken me a very long time to feel comfortable with my art and be able to take compliments about my art. And I mean, I know I'm not saying I'm a great artist, because I'm not. I'm getting better. I'm maybe an okay / good adventure game artist now, but there's still a lot of stuff that I need to work on, and there's still a lot of stuff I'm still exploring, and there's still a lot of stuff that I'll look back on, I'm sure, in a few months and be like, oh, this is horrible.
That's
I mean,
how
I've
it
already
should be, right?
Yeah, I've already gone back and fixed some Rosewater backgrounds because I'm like, oh god, what was I thinking? But that's the thing.
Yeah, that is the thing, and you're never going to stop saying, "Oh, I could have done this better," or
Right.
I should have spent more time on this, or anything like that. That never stops. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's a good perspective to have. If I think, unfortunately, if you're dissatisfied with it, that might be an okay place to be, because you're going to keep trying to improve
I mean,
what you're up
my
to.
thing has always been, and I think this is true of everybody, I'm sure you can feel the same, is that every game I've made has always been the best I can do
Yes.
with what I know at that time.
Exactly.
I may think, oh gee, I wish I could draw better, but I can't until I learn how to draw better. And then I'm like, oh, I can draw better now than I did then, or I can write better now than I did then, or whatever. So yeah, for sure.
And the best practice for drawing for adventure game backgrounds or characters and everything is to do it, which is what you're doing.
Yeah. Yes, slat. I hate that too.
Having to update tons of stuff after you've leveled up your skill mid-project. But you did go back and do a deluxe version of Ben Jordan. And why did you do that?
Yes. Well, 2 reasons. Because the first 2 games were ugly, and I wanted to make them look better because I figured I had gotten better at drawing, and also because I had made them before I sat down to write out the series, and so I wanted to sort of massage the plot a little bit to relate more towards the story as a whole than just be kind of standalone whatever things.
So how many years between doing the original Ben Jordan and the deluxe version?
I made the first 2 in 2004, and I did the deluxe version of Case 1 in 2006, I want to say. I think I did it between Cases 5 and 6, and I know Case 6 came out in 2007. And then I made I did the remake of Case 2 in 2010, I want to say. So 2 to 4 years later.
And you got that much better
Yes.
in that time.
I mean, I was trying different things. Yeah.
How long did the deluxe versions take?
Case 1 Deluxe took me a few months. Case 2 Deluxe took me a little bit longer because again, I was already like working full time and I was just doing it as a hobby. I want to say it probably took me about a year, maybe. Don't know. Couldn't tell you.
And I guess that kind of naturally brings us to what do you use? What are your tools for you? I mean, we both use Adventure Game Studio, but in terms of imaging software and all the other things that you use.
Well, I use the fantastic Photoshop CS2. I used to use Photoshop 6 back in the day.
So
Yeah.
what happened?
Well, what happened was Photoshop said, "Hey, you can get CS2 for free," and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll upgrade." And so I did, and I haven't upgraded again. So yeah, I basically use Photoshop for everything. I mean, I use it for drawing backgrounds, and I use it for drawing pixels. And I know that there's other pixel art programs out there. I tried using graphic scale for a while, but I only did that to like. I mainly used graphic scale for Alfie Banks in A Golden Wake when he changed his suit, and I had to like change the colors. It was a lot easier to just shift the colors in graphic scale for some reason.
Never used that. I'll look that up.
It's not great.
Okay.
And I know there's other programs out there, but I like using CS2 for everything. I also use a program called Squirrel's Water Reflections for water effects, which is fun. And I use a program called Timeline Effects for my particle effects, which I feel like it looks it's I've been using it since A Golden Wake, but I feel like it looks good. It looks better in high res. It doesn't look great with low res games.
Particle effects. That sounds like a fancy AAA talk you got there. Particle effects, water effects.
It's easier to do particle effects for stuff like smoke and sand and things like that, atmospheric things, than to like do it by hand.
Why do webcams go out of focus? Sometimes I see yours do it, sometimes mine does it.
I don't know.
It's very strange. But yeah, speaking of kind of the sort of improvements from game to game, do you consciously try to innovate or add new kinds of mechanics to adventure games as you build them?
I try to push myself in different ways. The thing is that I don't know, I feel like adventure games, there's not really a lot you can do to innovate mechanic wise necessarily. But yeah, like I mean, I was pushing myself with art from A Golden Wake onwards. Lamplight City, obviously I wanted to try doing the like detective thing with no inventory. I guess that was a mechanical change. I don't know, Rosewater, I don't know what I'm really pushing.
Well,
I guess the higher resolution again.
And the companion as
yeah,
well,
the companion thing is not really that big a deal. It's just keeping track of relationships, I guess, is what I'm trying differently.
Yeah, it's not that common in adventure games to have that.
I mean, The Walking Dead is what I'm basing it on.
Ah, okay, I never played it.
Season 1. Am I baking particles into an animation or like actually writing mini particle system? No, timeline effects, you basically just like tweak a bunch of stuff to get your particle. Like it has a bunch of templates and you can tweak them for what you need, and then you can export them as individual sprites, and then I just import those into AGS. So
I've never used such a thing.
yeah,
These are fancy tools.
yeah, there's a pixel art particle effect thing that someone gave me. Someone gifted me. I have it on Steam. Let me find it.
Cool. Pixel art.
It's called, hold on, I have to change from games to software. This is the one piece of software I own on Steam. Software, come on. Pixel FX Designer is what it's called.
Pixel FX Designer.
It's very generic, but hey, if you want to do some cool particle effects in the Crimson Diamond with pixels, like fire or
Oh,
something.
you know, I'm just gonna eyeball it and do it all by hand, just like everything else.
Yeah, I know. It's fine. That's probably the better way to do it, to be honest.
And if it looks a bit weird, that's the decision I made stylistically,
Yeah.
to make it look like the games of the era, so that I can always rationalize things away.
Yeah.
But speaking of Steam, what games are you playing lately?
Nothing on Steam.
Nothing on Steam. What game platform are you using? Or DOS games, or what do you? DOSBox,
I
ScummVM,
play PlayStation 4.
PlayStation 4. What are you playing?
I'm not really a PC gamer anymore.
Oh my goodness!
I'm a console guy. Yeah.
A PlayStation 4 console guy.
Yep. I've been playing a lot of XCOM 2 again. And I was playing Hitman, but I kind of put that away, and I want to play Control, and I want to play Red Dead 2, and I have so many games I have to play, but I haven't. I have played Until Dawn, and I also played the Dark Pictures anthology, the first one. I don't know. I cannot stand those games, but
Okay, so what is this? Because I don't know what this is.
oh Jesus, you've never heard of Until Dawn?
No.
Oh, so Until Dawn is okay. So imagine if Quantic Dream, which is David Cage's studio, and Telltale merged together and made a game.
Okay.
So they're very like 3D hyper realistic character models. They are horror games, but they're tongue-in-cheek like teen slasher. At least Until Dawn is. It's a tongue-in-cheek like teen slasher. It knows what it is. The dialogue is cheesy. It's fun because you control the different characters and you can like pass the controller around if you want, and if you're playing with a group of people. It's a lot of quick time events. It's kind of adventure gamey, but not really.
Until Dawn.
Yeah, and it's set in like a snowy cabin in Alberta.
Ooh.
Actually, yeah.
Oh wow, those are good character models.
So they made another. They made another series, or are making another series of games called the Dark Pictures Anthology, and the first one was called Man of Medan, and I played that one, and it's more of the same. It's a different setting, but it's essentially the same thing. They kind of refined some things. And it's cool because it's like choice based. Also, you can. The fun thing about those games is that like you can either end up with everyone alive or everyone dead or some permutations in between. So it encourages replay value.
Oh, speaking of replay value, I guess with Rosewater you've got the different companions. Do you have branching story stuff happen?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay, sort of. Explain sort of if you may.
So I don't have branching the way I did in Lamplight City, where in Lamplight City, if you locked off a lead, you couldn't continue and you missed the rest of that lead and you didn't see that. In Rosewater, you're in the same places, but the paths you take to get through are different. So I think the major branching thing is the second act, which is the journey, because there are some encounters that are randomized, so you won't see a few in one playthrough.
Randomized encounters.
Yeah, like little mini encounters. There's a pool of 3, and you'll get 2 each playthrough of that specific type of encounter. Then you have like companion specific ones, which some are based on stuff you've done before. Others are just, I haven't quite decided if I'm going to make them based on what your relationship score is with them, or what you've done specific things to them or whatever, or if it's just going to be like based on that, whatever. Anyway, and then there's 3 different paths at the first part of the third act.
Wow.
And they're based on like how you get through them. They're companion based, basically. So like the way that you get into or the way that you get to a certain place depends on who's with you, if that makes any sense. I feel like I'm rambling.
No, this is good. It's so interesting to me to hear that you've got branching so early on.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like it's such a technical challenge to handle all that and keep track of.
When does the game decide which encounters are displayed? When new game is started or when the encounter is triggered? Right now I have it coded right before the encounter starts. And that's probably what it's going to be in the final as well.
What about endings? Do you have different endings?
No, I'm going to do it. It ends the same way, but I'm going to do like, you know how at the end of Fallout you get like the little slideshow about like this faction, this happened to them, and that's what I'm going to do.
But how many of those are there going to be, you think?
Oh, I don't know yet. I haven't written them.
Oh no. So wait a second, but you must have you have the whole thing plotted out for the most part. And so you have the main storyline, but you just don't know the alternative endings potentially?
Well, I mean, I guess well, that's the thing. Like the way I'm presenting the ending is like the main character sits down at a typewriter and starts like writing about what happened. So yeah, I mean, I guess I know what happens, what potential outcomes for all of the characters are. But I'm not thinking about that in terms of endings because it's really just a matter of like, you know, so and so lived happily ever after, or so and so was found dead in a ditch, or so and so did. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's like, yeah, it's multiple endings that you're gonna see like completely different scenes for. It's just, yeah, I don't know.
That's always so interesting to me when it comes to adventure games.
Yeah.
How much control the player has over the ending outcome or outcomes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also, I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to say that like the final bit of the game is a showdown. Because it's a Wild West game. You have to have a showdown. But the way that plays out, and the way that who's there, who comes, who shows up, who does what, that all depends on your previous actions. So I don't, I want it to feel like all of the stuff you've done up until then, this is where like the major consequences are happening. I mean, there's other like setups and payoffs along the way, obviously, but like I really want it to feel like, oh, my choices, like so and so didn't show up because I did this before. So that sort of thing.
So that's what you mean by it's sort of the relationships you have with the companions potentially.
Yeah.
And will the relationships be affected by how you solve the way you solve certain puzzles, or is it more dialogue based?
Both.
Anything else? Any other ways?
No, just those two.
Okay.
No, mostly like dialogue responses, and then like there's certain situations where like, certain companions will have ideas or plans on how to do stuff.
Okay.
And whose choice you pick will make them happy and others upset and stuff like that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So like, yeah, there's one point where you can either like, well, I guess I'll talk about the demo. So like, because I don't want to spoil too much. The main thing in the demo is the main obstacle is getting into the theater to see the Wild West show, and there's like the obnoxious kid outside who's selling tickets, and he's already tried pickpocketing you. So you can either say, yeah, he's like, oh, I'll let you in if you get my pocket watch back, and you either help him and solve the puzzle to get the pocket watch back, or you can just punch him out and you get thrown in jail. So if you decide to punch him out and you get thrown in jail, you meet a character who's also in jail, and she is going to be one of your companions, and you have the opportunity to like talk to her a little bit and build your relationship with her. And then you get recruited and you go off on the thing. If you decide to solve the puzzles, there's two ways of solving the puzzle. You can either steal some lockpicks and sneak into, because this character who's in jail, Lola, is also the person who this kid says has stolen his watch. So you have to get the watch back from her place. So if you use the lock, if you steal the lockpicks and you sneak in and you find it, you sneak in, you sneak out. She's none the wiser. Whatever. You give him the watch, you watch the show, and then there's an extra scene where there's like a bar fight, and that's that, and then you get recruited. Same thing, you can also brute force your way, you can smash the lock. But if you smash the lock, you get caught by Lola. She's like, what are you doing in my house? For lack of a better term, because she lives in a blacksmith shop. So she gets mad at you for breaking in. So those are the three possibilities there. Now, later on, at the end of the act, when you go back to Rosewater, your companions are like, oh, well, we need to hire transportation. Guess who the only person in town who has a wagon is? So now you have to deal with her. So obviously she'll react differently based on whether she caught you, or whether she has no idea that you stole her watch, or whether she, is in jail, because she could still be in jail based on the other path. So yeah. So there's different ways to approach that. So like if she's in jail, you have to figure out how to bail her out. If she's mad at you, you have to get her watch back. If she's not mad at you, you could get her watch back for bonus points or for a discount, because there's money in this game. Or yeah, there's some puzzles that you can just buy your way out of, or some things you have to earn money to. Is there a
casino in the game?
There is a casino.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Wait a second. Okay.
But it's not what you think. It's not a Leisure Suit Larry saves coming casino type thing.
But that's the kind people like. It's like mini games
it's not a mini game. It's one of the random encounters you encounter, like a rundown shack that's also a casino, and like you have the possibility to like expose them cheating.
Okay, so you didn't program like a blackjack.
No.
Oh my goodness. Or like even a slot machine or something.
That is way beyond my abilities.
Wow. Because I mean that's another thing. You're self-taught with the programming as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In AGS only.
Yes, in AGS. Have you ever considered taking programming courses just to
No.
No. You say that so adamantly.
I don't know. I don't really feel like I need to right now. Maybe if I ever decide to go to Unity, but I don't see that happening anytime.
Ooh. So Unity would be the next step, potentially? It wouldn't be something like Game Maker or something?
I don't know. I mean, isn't that what most people go to?
I don't know, actually, either. But I said Game Maker because I know that it's quite similar to Adventure Game Studio in the way that it's set up and everything, but just more powerful.
Well, I mean, there's also Power Quest, which is he still in here? I saw him earlier. No, he's not. Does on drums. Dave Lloyd. He made a Unity plugin called Power Quest, which is basically AGS in Unity, more so than even Adventure Creator.
Oh wow!
But
that's pretty awesome.
Course, I'm too afraid to try it.
I'm also too afraid to try it.
But he makes great games in it. I mean, he's done a bunch of jam games with it.
That's so Power Quest. That's amazing. Yeah, because the thing is with Unity and everything, it's so much. It's like it's more powerful and like heavier of a program, and more demanding. I don't know how old your computer is or anything like that, but
it's like 4 years old.
It's not that bad.
But it's not that bad. But
what I love about Adventure Game Studio and what I love about low-res art and what I love about limited color palette is how lightweight everything is. Like I just told you that my working folder for Adventure Game Studio is about 150 megabytes, and the only reason it's that big is because there's a few some of Dan's songs are in there, and those tend to be the biggest part of my games, and probably the same with yours.
The art has definitely gotten a lot bigger since the sprite file has definitely gotten a lot bigger since I went high res. But yeah, usually the audio was always the biggest part.
Yeah.
Mousimus asks, have I ever tried running my AGS games under ScumVM? No, I have not. I think it's still a work in progress. I would be interested to see if like some of the older DOS games run in ScumVM, but I haven't gotten around to trying them.
Because that could be a good way for all these, adventure game studio games to work on other platforms and even on mobile and things like that.
Yeah.
You have Lamplight City on iPad, right?
Yeah, it's on iOS right now.
Yeah.
And there's a Switch port in the works.
Amazing. So how much of involvement do you have in those ports?
None.
Amazing. That's the best thing.
I mean, I get asked by so actually VGA 256 in the chat, he is an independent contractor. He is the one who ported Lamplight City to iOS.
Oh, sweet.
Yes, and I basically just had to. He asked me questions, and I just answered them. And same deal with the guy working on the Switch port. It's the same guy who ported Unavowed.
Oh, fantastic!
So he asks me questions, and I just answer them to the best of my ability.
Wow.
So.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So yeah. If you have an AGS game that you'd like to port to iOS, hit up VGA 256.
Oh, that's so cool.
You should. Oh, you could port Crimson Diamond and text parser. Phone keyboard.
Well, yeah, they've got the keyboard on the iPad, I suppose.
Yeah.
So iOS port. I'm writing this down.
Okay.
I don't imagine there'd be for me a Switch port at all. That doesn't seem to be a thing.
I don't know how you would type on the Switch.
Well, exactly. It would be a nightmare. So
that would be interesting. You'd have to have like a virtual keyboard, I guess.
Yeah, which no one will use. But yeah, VGA 256. Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool. It'd be cool to do in like an iOS version or something. On even the thing is that I actually find it would probably be even easier to play on a phone than the iPad, because the phone people are used to typing on, and someone's actually there was an AGS app that I don't think is being supported much anymore, for Android phones.
Yes.
Where someone was actually had actually loaded it onto their Android phone and was using the keyboard that pops up and was tapping the screen to walk around with it. So it worked surprisingly well, considering I had done no extra work on that. But yes, no, this is all good stuff to know. And I guess in terms, that's another thing I wanted to ask that I didn't manage to get to earlier, was in terms of like narrative focused games or adventure games in general, best events for in-person and online that you find have been, because I know we've both, like that picture that I tweeted was you and I at Adventure X 2019, which is an amazing event. I've only been once, and I'm totally going to go as soon as they do another one. But beyond Adventure X in London, what other ones would you recommend for both in-person and online?
So Narrowscope is pretty good too. That one is a little bit more interactive fiction leaning, but it's open to all narrative games. I guess it's kind of like, it's the same way that Adventure X was kind of like originally just for like adventure games, but now is all narrative games. Narrowscope it always started as for everyone, but it's interactive fiction ish leaning. But yeah, anyway, there's more IF talks than there are at Adventure X, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
But that one's good. I know they're not doing it this year. The first one was 2 years ago in Boston, and then they were going to have it last year in Illinois, but obviously it got canceled, so they did it online. Narrowscope. Yeah, sorry. Not Narrowscope.
Narrowscope.
Narrowscope. Like narrative scope. So that one's another good one. For online, Steam has that Ludonarracon. Well, actually, it's not Steam. It's some publisher. They do Ludonarracon. That's another good one. That's about it off the top of my head. Julia, are you planning any future talks on EGA low-res development in the future? Any future talks in the future?
Any future talks in the future? I do have on my YouTube channel I did one talk. It was geared toward, I think, grade 10 students. It's a 45-minute talk about pixel graphics, and with some examples from the old school stuff and what I do, and sort of almost like a history of art history look at older versions of stuff that kind of looks like pixel graphics, like cross stitch, mosaics, that type of thing, tapestries, things like that. So yeah, I did do that. I don't have any plans, and no one's asked me to do any more talks in the future, but I'm more than willing to do them by video or just do a recorded one, because I do find them a lot of fun, and that's the only way that I'll get around to organizing my thoughts on these things, because usually it's just floating ideas here and there, and when you actually need to put them all together to make something coherent, it can actually be a lot of fun to form your thoughts in a
You just have to write them down on your flashcards.
on my flashcards.
Yeah, there you go.
But I mean, this is all out of, all weird orders and stuff.
Yes.
But
so I've had a wonderful time, but I haven't actually had dinner, and I'm getting very hungry.
Oh, no.
So if you have any final questions?
Yes. Yeah, this is actually our wrap up time anyway. 10:30
Okay.
time we go. So yeah, I didn't realize.
No, it's fine.
But,
I've enjoyed being here so much that I forgot to eat.
Oh no. Well, yeah. I mean, so this is actually a perfect time for Francisco to feed himself. And yeah, if anyone has any last minute questions, we're gonna, after Francisco goes, we're gonna look for someone to raid and see what's what. Oh yes, obligatory what's for dinner question.
Oh, that's an excellent question. I don't know. I don't know. Any suggestions?
Peanut butter sandwich?
God, no. I haven't had a peanut butter sandwich in like a month.
Really? Because that used to be your go-to lunch
It
during
was
Wednesday. What happened?
It was, but well, it's a long story. But
No.
calzones.
It's worse when you say that's a long
Mac and
story
cheese
involving
and
peanut butter.
No, it's I kind of switched up my diet a little bit, so
Okay.
I've not been eating peanut butter sandwiches. I've been having peanut butter in smoothies, but not sandwiches.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Is anyone out there playing Lamplight City?
Oh yes,
hope so.
we'll do that look. Yeah, I'll take a look once Francisco has been excused to his dinner of not peanut butter sandwich. You better tweet what you eventually end up eating, because we all want to know.
I'm probably gonna have a quesadilla if we're being honest,
Okay, that sounds amazing.
because it's super quick and easy to make, and it's late.
Microwave frozen quesadilla or some
Well, homemade but microwave.
homemade quesadilla.
Trader Joe's flour tortillas with Colby Jack cheese.
Okay, that sounds amazing.
Pretty easy.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Francisco, for
Yeah.
being my guest on this, and
It was
talking shop
wonderful.
and everything.
I hope my answers weren't boring.
No, they were super educational, and expect me to bother you more
Oh,
about
that's-
Steam
it's not a
achievements
bother.
and all that
It's fine.
when we get to it.
You can bother me about Steam achievements on one condition.
Oh no.
You're not allowed to wince at my puns ever again.
Well, if I'm just messaging you, you won't see the wincing, and I won't.
Oh,
use...
that's true. That's
yeah, so
true.
don't worry.
Yeah, but I can tell.
Yeah,
in
you're
the
right.
text. In the
I'll try my best to not, because it's just
Okay.
we talked about this, why I don't like puns. It's because I don't equate cleverness with humor. Anyway, it's fine. It doesn't mean it's funny. It
No,
doesn't.
that's fine,
It's just
that's
a
fine.
wordplay.
That's fine.
Anyway, sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Enjoy your dinner.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time on this. Good luck with
Thank you.
Rosewater. I'm gonna
Thank you.
just drop all those links, all those good links. Lamplight City is on sale, you guys. 33% off.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the Rosewater,
I'll be streaming
Demo.
tomorrow. I don't know what I'll
Oh,
be
sweet.
streaming yet, because I started a background today, but it's a spoiler background.
Oh no,
So,
that's what happens with these narrative games. You got to be
Yeah.
careful. But
so
so tune in to Wild West
I'd be
Wednesday.
looking forward
Yes.
to streams later in the day if you consider them. Well, I don't just stream on Wednesdays. Sometimes I do random Friday streams. What would be a good time to stream later in the day? Would I don't know, 5 p.m. Eastern be more agreeable? Perhaps. Wild West whatever day. I also sometimes do free what do you call it? Frontier Friday.
Yes, and sometimes on Sunday, but you don't have a name for that, or Monday.
That's right.
Yeah.
Monday is just like bonus Monday.
Bonus
Julia's
Monday.
8 p.m. is good for us in Asia. Okay. Well, 8 p.m. is a bit later than I would like to stream.
7 a.m. Fractal Mind Mike said it at 7 a.m.
7 a.m. you might be awake. Okay, right. So you're obviously in Eastern Australia, right? I promise not to work Saturday streams. I haven't done one of those in a while. But anyway, yeah, okay.
Yes,
well,
so tune in tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern for Grundislav's Wild West Wednesday.
Yes.
So.
If I see you there, I'll see you there. If not, that's fine.
Wow.
Just wishlist Rosewater.
Yes, wishlist Rosewater, wishlist the Crimson Diamond, wishlist Rosewater.
Yes, and the Crimson Diamond.
Yes.
So when's the Crimson Diamond coming out?
We said we weren't going to talk about that, because then I'll just ask you. I'll flip that over. So when's Rosewater coming out?
2022.
It said 2021 on the trailer.
Not anymore. Well, on the trailer, but I can't edit that. It doesn't say it on the Steam page anymore.
It says it on the trailer.
It says soon.
Yep, it's soon. Everything's going to be soon. So, yeah, that's...
everything's soon.
We don't ask that kind of question in polite company.
You never ask a woman when her game's coming out. You never ask a man when his game's coming out either.
Yeah, that's not a question that gets addressed whatsoever.
No, you're right. Yeah. You're right. Anyway,
yes.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
It was a pleasure.
Yes.
And have a nice evening, everybody, or day, or whatever it is.
Yes, indeed. Have a nice evening. Bye. I'll just let Francisco go because I'm not sure what's going to happen to the stream now that he's left. Oh yeah, here we go. It doesn't have my picture anymore, but hopefully you can still hear me. So let me know if you can still hear me. Yeah. Yeah, the void, has it gone completely? Okay, great. You guys can hear me. So what we're going to do is I'm not going to bother restarting because we're just going to find someone to raid now. Yeah, Zoom and Twitch do not play that nicely together. So we're gonna find someone. We're gonna look for Lamplight City. Someone playing Lamplight City. Great. Yeah, don't worry about anything else. Let's see. No one is playing Lamplight City right now. Let's see what people are currently playing. What do we have? Ren is playing King's Quest 6. Taco Adventures playing Ripley's Believe It or Not, The Riddle of Master Lu. That's about it all I have. Great. Anyone else have any suggestions of who to raid? Because if we don't know, or we don't have a pick, I'll pick someone from my list of currently active people. I'm just seeing what Middle-Aged Stream is streaming. Patoing, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you everyone for coming, as usual. Oh, Jimbles is playing a platforming type of game. So let's see. Ren. The Renaissance is playing King's Quest 6, which is always a favorite. Or Ripley's Believe It or Not. Master Lu, EA Benson, anyone else? Quick, just write in chat whether you'd rather see Ripley's Believe It or Not, The Riddle of Master Lu, or King's Quest 6, and then we will rate accordingly. Master Lu, that's 2 for Master Lu. Lu, okay, that sounds great. I'm just gonna write in chat again for Grundislav to say thank you. And we're going to set up this raid. Raid message will be... raid message... raid message will be... Crimson... Raiders... are raiding... May we? Okay. Raid message, Crimson Raiders are raiding May we? And we are going to raid the Renaissance, who is playing King's Quest 6. There, N-E-S, ants. I know, Dave. Dave, I don't know. You know, I'm not the best with the raid messages. It's definitely not zippy. Raid the Renaissance. We'll work on that. Okay? That is fine. We will figure something out. And next week, next week, I got to talk it over with Dan, but it could be at long last, the return of Dan Polakar, the musician of the Crimson Diamond, who is using a Roland MT32, which was his idea. And we're going to maybe live compose something on stream. We got to figure something out. And Dan is an amazing musician. Dan is an amazing composer. And all this good stuff. His Twitch is Dan the Band Music, which is where we will be streaming from if we are streaming music next week. And it's a good time. If you want to see music being a track being built from the ground up, from absolutely nothing to pretty much finished in the length of a stream, that's what you can be treated to with Dan. And I'll see you over at the Renaissance's stream. And have a great night. Thank you so much for coming, as usual. Have a wonderful night, and hope to see you next week. Bye.